Again, I'm still here on the project, building capacity around my mouth, but I got something to back it up. What do you think? Let's discuss it. This is Samson Tone, Liberian Public Radio. It's Friday, so why not? But I want to bring your attention to a show that I'm going to be having tonight. It's going to be very interesting. I'm encouraging all of you, those of you that are listening to this video, to tune in tonight, because perhaps this might be some of the reason why we have all of the mess that is going on in our own country, because you have to listen to these things. The trouble we've been having in Liberia didn't start overnight. These are things that's been happening from time to time. There are those who came before us, past generation, failed to recognize these things, and will continue to repeat them, and because we ourselves have not yet able to recognize and see if these things can be rectified, so that this country, beautiful country of ours, can be built just by our hands as Liberian. Doesn't matter who you are at this point. Concord country, it doesn't even exist anymore. We're all one another. We're all one country, one people. But if we do not understand why these things are happening to us, we're most likely not going to be able to find solution. So I ask you tonight to join me.
Yet, how does one begin to help people who swim on their own flooded streets to voting booths to vote incompetent criminals back into office?
Yes, that is a big question we all have to answer. How do you help people who will go to the voting booth swimming in their own flooded streets just to vote people in offices who are incompetent? And those incompetent people that are being voted in offices will also appoint people who are also incompetent. So this is like a big deal. How do we help our brothers and sisters to make sure that their voting rights are utilized effectively? They have the voting cards. They must be told how important their voting cards are to all of us. And so I'm saying those of us that have this platform, this is not time for hate. You don't come into this because you hate. You must do all you can to educate the voters themselves, how important their voting cards are. Because of their vote, our leaders will be able to do what is right for our people. Join me this evening as I try to explore this particular question and many more that will be coming. Join me this evening at 8 Eastern Time, 5 Pacific, where we will take on this question and be able to see how much we can go. With your help, we, the Liberian people, will be able to educate our brothers and sisters that have the right to vote whoever they want, but they must do so with responsibility. This is Samson Toll, Liberian Public Radio. Thank you very much.
C'est au-dessus de moi, encore une autre fidèle qui l'Amérique n'a pas bloqué nous. Quand il va Sylvie, il y a un point qui j'ai loupé presse. L'Amérique n'a pas bloqué, t'as mon bien de moi avec nous deux. En ce moment, on va battre au moins, néo. Mon temps dit, t'as mon mounier, on s'est battu pour moi, il pleure. Tout là, le pays.
Doing anything that people getting amended, and there will be from 2005 to date. We're all doing anything. I've done something. Trust me. I'll be re-elected. You understand? So you don't need to fight. You don't need to destroy your country. You don't need to even condemn your country. You have to be inspired, peacefully, and then convince the people, persuade people. Politics is about persuasion, and it's about what you have done for your people. I have done so much that I don't need pay for. You know why I don't need pay for? Because Liberians love me and they promoted me when I was on a soccer page. You know what I'm saying? And they were proud to be Liberian when I was on the soccer page. And I've done my best for my country. I'm a former peace ambassador. It doesn't matter what people say, I'm on record.
Ìyàwó abẹ́lá lókè yóò níbi tó jọba ẹ̀ níbi tó yànba máa ti sì mọ̀ pé yóò máa jẹ́ jíjí wọ́n pè sàmẹ́ fọ́sẹ̀ o sí ti connect to connect. L'animateur Chogo Yonskan Yasin de Toyebi l'homme a tout fait pour Mivito. Aniche les vœux.
Henry, I can tell you the problem of this country with respect to prices, with respect to health, with respect to education, are largely tied to roads. There are no roads. You don't see opportunities where they should be when you don't have roads. From up to 173 years, we only have one road. How do you know what is happening in Bapolu when you don't have road? You don't go there. The prices of goods, commodities in the market are high because to get them to where they are needed. So there's no way you can, when I talk about road, I'm not talking about putting road on the sidewalk in Monrovia, $50,000 road and make it $3 million. We're talking about roads that will open up the country. We're talking about roads that will open up opportunities, roads that will get businesses going and dependency reduced because people believe their goods and commodities can get to the market. That's what we're talking about.
But we will prosecute and will confiscate assets that people steal and acquire by illicit means. I often say that in Liberia, when people get caught, they send their wife, they send their children, they send their relatives, whatever, to come and beg. I'm saying the Liberian people, don't come and beg. You know, don't come and tell me, oh, stand to help you get elected. He talked nice about you on the radio station. Now he's stealing, so forgive him. Stanley should have known when he was stealing that we're going to punish him. So there's going to be consequences. That's the first thing. Then we have to make sure we're paying people a living wage. So we did the arithmetic, we did the math in 2017 that when you look at policeman's salary or healthcare worker's salary or teacher's salary, by the middle of the month, the money finished. By the time they pay rent, they buy food, they pay the children tuition, and of course, they're not going to starve, right? So the policeman will pull you over, the teacher will accept bribe, they change grades.
Again, folks, Samson told LIBERIA Public Radio. I want to welcome all of you again tonight. It's going to be a wonderful, wonderful show here, live again. Samson told LIBERIA Public Radio, of course, from the Sacramento Bureau, that is. Good evening, good evening, good evening, good evening, good evening, folks. Thanks for tuning in. We appreciate all of you here again tonight. We say, please stay with us. And if you could do us a favor here as well, if you can just share this video to as many people as you can, we will appreciate it. We have some real good topic here tonight. Hopefully, my panelist is going to be joining me here. But let me go ahead. Safety, Lord Jesus. Thank you. Thank you for all the mercy that you continue to have on us. I say thank you, especially tonight for my nephew, Eddie Bayan, Cesar Jr. over there in public work. Thank you. Thank you for sparing his life. We appreciate that. My Lord, as we sit here again tonight, we ask you to continue to bless us. We ask you, my Lord, to help us as people to do what it is that we have to do to move forward. Only through you that things are possible. Help us break this chain. This change is undecisive. This change of corruption, this change of unbelievable mistrust among ourselves. Only you. We have to count on you. We have to come to you. Please help us. My Lord, as we prayed again tonight, we ask you to guide our tongues. Whatever comes out of our mouth here tonight must be of a decent proposal. My Lord, guide us. Make sure we're not speaking out of envy. We're not speaking out of jealousy. Give us the wisdom. Guide our tongues. My Lord, we ask you to bless the country, the Republic of Liberia. Bless the leaders of the Republic of Liberia. Give them wisdom to do what is good for our people. My Lord, we're asking you again. We're Liberian diaspora are asking you to continue to bless us. Give us the strength to work hard because we have two tables. We put food on the table in the diaspora and we'll put food on the table back home. And thanks for your help. Thanks for encouraging us. Thanks for the strength that you continue to put in us. Thank you. My Lord, we ask you to bless the host country, the United States of America. In Jesus' name, we pray. Thank you. All right, folks, Samson told LIBERIA Public Radio, we're going to be on here tonight. What is happening in Liberia with this situation on Sunday? I have a different take on that. I'm going to take this whole debacle and put it squarely on one person's foot or feet. The person have 2 feet. So I'm putting it right there in front of their feet. You know, I believe in life that if you're going to be doing something where a community is concerned, where a group of people are concerned, and you pretend to be something that you're not, you always have issues. If you come through as someone who is willing to do what it takes to get things, the community, the people moving, and even if you're unable to do it, but because you have a clean heart, you have a sincere heart, and you want to do it, God will guide you and you will be successful. And folks, this is where we find ourselves again. Since 1822, with Liberians, and Liberia has been suffering. We're going from place to place. One good thing God is not going to do for us is to go out and borrow leaders to come and lead our country. God is not going to do that for us. God put us on that land so that we will be able to do good for each other, so that whatever development that is going on all over the world, that we ourselves can bring that development in our country. Only us. You cannot go to Lebanon and borrow Lebanese to come and develop your country for you. You cannot go to China and bring the Chinese to develop the country for you. You cannot even go to Sierra Leone, the next door neighbor, to borrow them and bring them in. When I say borrow, you know what I mean. Borrow them and bring them in, and then you expect them to develop your country for you. You can't do it with Nigerians. You can't do it with Ghanaians. You can't do it with Ivorians. As long as they know that that is not their country, you're not going to get anything good. The fact that there's money to be made, they will do everything possible to make the money. But in terms of successful development that will please you and your people, it's not going to happen until you bring Liberians on board. Liberians. And when I mean Liberians, I'm not talking about selfish Liberians. Because the selfish Liberians will be the one that will be pushing your political career. Selfish Liberian will be the one that will be running your campaign, acting like they care for you and care for the country. They don't. They want to take the first seat if you succeed. So that by then taking the first seat, they will be able to stand up and say, you know who I am. That's who we are, Liberians. We put our interest above the interest of the majority. That's who we are, Liberians. We do not seek the interests of our brothers and sisters. We seek the interests of ourselves, our family, and the close friends. That's who we are, Liberians. When we get something, the government position or whatever, election time, we go and pay school fee for few. Not in the interest of the county, not in the interest of the district, but in the interest of just few. That's who we are, Liberians. I also believe that we as Liberians, we are quick to destroy things. Very, very quick. We don't try to judge. If something starts, trouble starts, the first thing is, I don't own it. Let's go destroy it. Those who have fought hard, work hard to build themselves something, you just destroyed it because it is not yours. That's who we are, Liberian. There's evidence. Everything that I'm saying here, there's evidence. And many of you that are listening to me know exactly what I'm talking about here tonight. So we Liberians must be the same people that will be willing to truly, truly turn this thing around. We have to. We have no choice. No choice but to do it and do it well. You must have Liberians that will put the interest of the country and the people above themselves. You must have Liberians who will be willing to sacrifice, not necessarily sacrificing their lives, but sacrifice the good that come with the prestige that comes with it, leadership and what have you, and make themselves available to all Liberians. Folks, over the years, we have had Liberians that will come in the interest of the people. And within a twinkle of the eye, they turn around and start doing things for which they said the other people were doing wrong. And the fact that Liberians are yearning so much for freedom, so much for equality, so much for the poor to be relieved, they're quick to follow those who they believe will lead them to the promised land. And as a result, these people will go out and lie. What they believe, what they're telling the people, they will lie. Untruthful statement will be made in the interest of the people. They will come out and say, I am who I say I am. I will deliver you. I will rescue you. All kinds of terms will now be used again to get our people to follow them. Are we on the right path this time around? I don't know. I hope that this time around our brothers and sisters will be relieved, will truly be rescued. But we've seen this thing before. We've seen this ship before. We've seen this same movie before, folks. This movie has played in Roxas Cinema. This movie has played in Redders. This movie has played in all the theaters in Monrovia. We've seen it before. We're not stranger to this. But what do? Do we throw our hands up and say, let them have it? Because they keep fooling us. They keep telling us things they know they are unable to do. But because of this one position they're all looking for, they will lie to us. I can do this. I can do that. But then the question is, who are we? Do we really, really believe that these people can do it, or we just want something for instant gratification? Are we the whippers of these people to put us in a position and believing in them, following them? And then once they get in offices, they decided they would do things for themselves and their relatives. I say all of these things tonight because of what happened on Sunday. And folks, let me just say this here very quickly. I pray, I hope it's not the case. But what happened on Sunday is just a tip of the iceberg. There are more to come. As I stated from the beginning, in these kind, I believe, I have not gone to leadership school. I don't have degree in leadership, what have you, but I have common sense. After the Civil War, and if I'm wrong, please say so. After the Civil War, Liberians were so tired. They were so tired of fighting among ourselves. They wanted out of the refugee camps. They have their own places to go. Because many of us were calling back home. Can you go and see my place over there? Is it damaged? Go on my land to see if it's damaged. If not, that's okay. I can try and put something together and build it. That's how much anxious Liberians were. They were anxious to come back home and start their lives all over. Because that, my brothers and sisters, is the home. It's the home. The home you can never leave. No matter how destructive our people are to this place. But it is our home. It's where we call home. And so many Liberians, after the Civil War, were willing to go back. And I thought, I wrote a piece. At that time, we didn't have Facebook. It was live streaming where you go and write, and you hope that some people will see and publish it. I have two of them I wrote. One of them was published on Front Page Africa years ago. But the one that I put up for folks to read was so much like what I thought would happen. I wrote that many of us has been affected by this war. However, this is the time for all of us to start all over. Now we have tasted the bitter part of freedom. Now that we have tasted the bitter part of democracy, let's see if we can find the sweet part of democracy. Was my piece. This was back in 2000, I believe 2003. And so when the interim government came in, or caretaking government came in from Accra, the very first thing they started doing that gave me pause to say, these people are not going the right way. They started dividing ministries among the warring factions, pretty much. This one take this, that one take that. What are they qualified? Samson name was placed on one of those lists. I wasn't going nowhere. Yeah, you kidding me? I have no interest in that. Because at the time, and I did it before, I did it second time around. One piece, everything was happening then. Because I felt within myself. Yes, I'm an engineer. But I have not gotten to that point yet. Let me train myself more so that when I come in, I will be able to say something that I believe and know how to do it. At that time, the late Emmanuel Tay used to be in, how do you call it, Minnesota. We talked, and he said, that's right thing. I won't even do that either. Many of my colleagues didn't think it was a good thing to go anyhow. I didn't. The second one, another colleague of mine, engineer, they had a company. Here he worked for. He used to be. Well, he's retired now. I'm still not working, but he was working. And he had a project in Liberia where they wanted to send engineer in Liberia. I believe it was either 2006, 2007. I'm not too sure now. But I was asked. I'm a civil engineer. But in civil engineering, there are different disciplines. You got roadway, you got structure, you got water, you got whatever you call it there. So the guy asked if I wanted to go to Liberia, and that he was going to put my name down to go to Liberia to work with the water and sewer company for $10,000 a month, paid for. Because the project was being sponsored by European. At that time, Monroe was none the way it is now. At first, I was anxious. Yeah, $10,000. Oh, in Liberia, in Liberia, I don't have to pay rent. I don't have to. Oh, that would be good. But then I thought to myself, what good would it do you? You're on roadway. Of course, I can study. It won't take me long to get myself back into water. But I thought to myself, for $10,000, I don't believe this guy who is asking me is a very good friend of mine. I respect him. He respects me a lot. And I don't believe he's asking me for me to go to Liberia and then train myself again for the position that is being paid $10,000. So I told him, no, I can't do that because I'm not into water. I'm on roadway. And water, there's a lot of things involved in water. Selecting the pump system, what is sizing the pipes and all that kind of stuff. So fluid mechanic, pretty much. Well, almost pretty much. I know fluid. I can do fluid. It's no big deal. But I didn't think I was ready to go and do that for $10,000 a month in Liberia. Many of the ministers then was making what $15,000, $16,000 or so, besides the yaman thing they do on the side. But I didn't take that. Why? Because I thought within myself that I'd be doing good for my country. I'll be doing good for myself to get that $10,000. While wife is still working here, I can in Liberia, I can save a lot. But it will be benefiting myself, not the general public. And I told this young man, no, I can't do that. They ended up, according to him, they ended up employing a Sierra Leonean to go and do that. But I wanted to make sure that one, and that's why, folks, when I come on here and start talking about road, and I say I don't take back seat to anybody when it comes to road because I invested myself so much into it. I'm not saying that I'm an expert in all of it, but I can take my own. I can hold my own. Among white people, among black people, whoever, I can hold my own when it comes to roadway design. So I'm not, but because of that, I didn't go. The show is not about me. So let's get back to that. When these people came in, they started dividing ministry among themselves, putting people places that they were not qualified for, all because of spoil or war, they called it. Okay. I didn't push back much on many of the friends that I have. Okay, you want to do it? That's fine. You guys fought, and some of us didn't do anything except to support. So that's fine. If you were to get killed at that time, that's your life. Your family will have regret that and be sad about it. So go ahead, what you guys do. Then the election, Councillor Bronskin went to Liberia, if you remember that. Friends of Bronskin bought him a car to go to Liberia. And he went to Liberia. And when he got to Liberia, he was there for some time, but he had so much momentum. It was unbelievable.
Look, the liberal.
Yeah.
That your Sasa talk. We're not going to allow you with this sort of fairy tale here.
Well, you're gonna have to let me learn tonight. It's a very serious. I have a very serious conversation.
What is this? How long are you going to be keeping this conversation?
Just I have a very serious. What is happening, Mr. Soul? Seriously, what happened yesterday? It's not going to be the end. There will be more to come, and if we don't start laying out the groundwork, where these things are coming from, if some of us don't start pointing that out and just deal with the wound immediately, it's not going to help us. And I tell from that perspective, I go a little bit deeper tonight. So just give me at least 10 minutes of you guys' time.
Are we watching movies?
Yes. Yes.
No, this is not your Roxy cinema you used to.
Well,
you talk about all the movie, you didn't talk about Sacramento movie. Why are you left it out?
Well, because Sacramento don't have Liberian movie. So you just give me 10 minutes. Let me learn this thing here, please. You can stay right there. Don't go. If you have questions, you can bust me in anytime.
I'm going to start you. I'm going to, don't tell what are you talking about? Go ahead.
Okay, thank you. So, when they came in, elections came around, Madam Saliv and many other Liberians started going around the country preaching. I can do this. I will be able to help. We're just coming from war. We need people with experience. In fact, Madam Saliv would say, I have a degree in academic. In fact, the entire population, the entire international community would say, Harvard-trained, educated Liberian lady wanted to be president. And we all hung up on that. She became president. We believe in her, trusted in her. The fact that she was educated, and the interesting thing about that it was, not only was she educated, but she also, American trained education, that is, but she was also highly involved into Liberian politics from a very long time. Remember, she used to be an academic advisor here in the United States for PAD, Bacchus Matthew Dan Party. So she been involved. As a young lady, she was involved. In fact, when she came to Monrovia and became Minister of Finance on the top of government, so she was very much involved. She knows about Liberian culture and everything else. Okay. So she took the arm. And you would think the fact that she was also heavily involved in the war, not necessarily fighting, but we saw her here in the United States during the days of the war. She used to be on Nightline, on CNN, and everywhere else. So she knows the history about this war. And what some of us were expecting to get out of her was to put in structure to help Liberians. I'm not going to fight with you here tonight.
I'm sick and tired. The audience not even happy with you.
Yeah, that's okay. I'm not doing it for the audience. I'm not doing it for the audience. I'm not doing it. I'm not going to fight with you here tonight. I will finish my program. I'm not going to fight with you.
I'm here to fight. Let me just tell you right now.
Okay, enjoy yourself.
I'm here
enjoy yourself. But let me put a little more. I beg you. Enjoy yourself. Fight all you want tonight. I'm not going to fight with you. But anyway, so when she came in, people believe in her. She also decided to go deep into the young Liberian population, bring them on board. You saw how many young Liberians joined her administration. Then she brought in this other guy called John Molu. And John Molu told her, your government is the most corrupt government in the history of the Liberian government business. And you would think that she was going to say, oh, wait a minute. This is not what we fought the war for. What happened? Why John Molu is making this statement? John Molu is a very young person. John, tell me why you're making that kind of statement. She didn't fight. She couldn't fire John because John was on there based on international partner putting John in there. But she could have renewed John's contract. They asked John. John made that statement. She turned it into politics, and it dies down. But guess what? She had all her kids were working in the government. She started. We saw the picture here of a video with a brown envelope business. She started that. Instead of going deep into the Liberian psyche, we just got out of war. People were just being disarmed. Instead of her to say, okay, I'm also a mother of this country. What happened? Let's discuss it. When the TRC came around, what was her statement? If you want to know what my participation in the war is, wait for my book. And folks, she said she wrote a book. This lady, the mother of the land, as I call her, she refused to look at Liberia as a nation coming from a war. What happened to the oil blocks? What happened to all that money? According to some of the papers that I've been reading, over $25 billion went through her administration. What do we have? Today, if individual senators, if individual Liberians don't come and put some sort of a program together, the fighters, the ex-combatants will have nothing to detraumatize them. Every one of us are still traumatized. And folks, I'm saying to you tonight, in as much as she's old now, nothing we can do. People say, oh, that's just for me. I'm not interested in that. But I believe that as she's getting older, she said down, she regrets the fact that for today's date, to even have people still trying to go to Prince Johnson Church and destabilize that. And having Prince Johnson now coming up to say he's going to mobilize 500 people. I believe where she's sitting now, she's probably thinking, if I have done better, put good structure in place. She didn't. And so I'm saying to you tonight, as I'm going to now take a picture of, I think this lady didn't do us a favor. She damaged that country more than the war did in terms of our ability to understand, our ability to accept what is happening. The corrupt behavior that is happening now. I'm not going to say it started under her administration, but when she came in, every one of us were ready to start anew. We didn't do that. She didn't help us. And so I'm saying, Prince Johnson is saying he's going to mobilize 500. I don't think the government will even allow that amount of people to surround a church. So that's not going to happen anyway. But for me, it's very sad. So I'm saying here again tonight, before I hope other panelists will join me here. But I'm saying here that we Liberians, we have to look among ourselves and try to find someone that will help us and help our mind. Look what happened here with George Weah the other day. Immediately after signing, and George Weah is not dumb. He's a very smart person. But after signing that thing, immediately he attacked, according to the story, he attacked, what's his name, Gurich. For what reason? Because he was traumatized, and that trauma is still in him, and it's still within us, every one of us. And so it won't take much.
Is that a justification you're giving?
But what I'm saying here, I'm not justifying anything. I'm saying that we Liberians, election is coming again. Whether I support Ambassador Bakai or whoever, Liberians, open your mind. These things are very, very important. Other than that, we're going to have some more issues. Mr. So, that is my monologue here tonight for about 15, 20 minutes. So let's hear you. Why you busting into my show? Why are you coming in? Who invited you? I invite you.
You won't have additional 20 minutes? You are wasting our time.
That's okay. That's okay. That's what I do. I'm very good at that. I'm very good at that. I'm very good at that. No, but Mr. So, no, on a very serious note, what happened on Sunday? Yeah, you would say the people went to disturb Prince Johnson. Look who was involved. If we have had clean TRC, if Madam Salif have gone out, because Prince Johnson said he was not going to say anything until the woman come out and say something. If we had that woman to lead us, many Liberians would have come out.
But now the thing about it now, she's not there. Is that how long were we talking about this here?
No,
so what is the solution now?
I understand she's not there, but the effect is still hurting us. Many of the people that you saw over there on Sunday were child soldiers. So those are the people that when she came in with that 25 billion, if she were to spend it to help these children, perhaps they won't do much. And then
I think you are really firing your own legs here this evening here. So Helen Johnson, was she running the government in isolation?
No, but she was the leader. No, Mr. Soul, she was the leader.
Can you not be held accountable?
Yeah, I'm also responsible as a Liberian. We are.
You are saying she being a leader. Being a leader, does that mean you can be held accountable of your wrongdoing?
That's the point that I'm making.
So this is what is because of the broken system that we have, and people who feel that they are leader, that they can do anything and get away with it.
What do you mean by broken system? What do you mean by broken system?
because there are laws. When somebody broke the
Mr.
law,
So, that's my point. If this lady had set these things up for those who were responsible to be punished,
it doesn't matter.
not
I
necessarily
don't
be
see.
punished, but
I
come
don't.
out and admit to the Liberian people, and you apologize to the Liberian people.
Would that make the
People
law
will know
effective?
that when you do something wrong, there are consequences. But there's nothing
Something
in
to.
Liberia.
So this is the kind of conversation you guys who have pushed the liberals in a sort of bad position. So are you saying now, even with all that is happening within the George Weah administration, whoever that will be elected president comes the next election, should they not be held accountable? Because
The
it was
same thing going to repeat. These things going to repeat themselves
But this
until.
is why we need to have the conversation now.
And that's why I'm having the
Instead,
conversation. That's why I'm having the conversation. Mr. So the point here that I'm making on the larger scale is I'm not necessarily seeking punishment, but
what
people
are you
must
seeking?
realize, people must know that if you do
So you
something,
want her to just apologize like she did in
no,
the case of the
no,
car and nothing
no.
was not going to say.
What I'm saying is not necessarily apologizing, but I'm saying it's in the past now. We're gonna have to find other way.
Guys, the link is out there to you. We don't need. We shouldn't give this liberal a chance to be having his another versions of Tabata Kramer says Sasa that what he doing here tonight. And I don't think we have a lot of stake. But here is the thing here, liberal. What I'm saying, we have laws on the book. We saw President Donald Trump in a debate. He said he was smart. The smart net now catch up with him. The laws of this land is taking effect. So whatever Helen Johnson did, if she did it on purpose and there were laws or the Constitution for whatever reason was violated, it is the responsibility of the sitting government to question. We can't mind, because that's not what we want.
You're leaping from the Empire State Building and no safety net for you. That is not going to help us. That is not going to help us. My point, what's going to help us now?
You want her to apologize?
No, for her, I'm just laying it right before her feet. But that's done. She can't do anything now. I'm saying this coming election, Liberians should open their minds and open their hearts and open their eyes, because there will be people that will come to them just like Madame Sally did. And people believe that perhaps she was going to start new and people are going to follow her. Instead, she brought her whole family to run the government. And it became like a farm. And this is what I'm saying. And as a result of that, if she had brought in people who are qualified, and I'm not saying her kids were not qualified, far from it, but because of the relationship, nepotism, how are you going to run a government like that? Number one. But if she had brought in people who would say, you know, this thing that you have to go to the TRC and testify truthfully, then other people will follow her and say, okay, if the madam can do this, I'm going to go and follow.
So I still try to wrap this thing. So what do you want? What are you saying here this evening?
What I'm telling you, Mr. So, is this. Basically, what I'm saying to you is this. If Madam Sally had done that,
you start crying now, so I don't want you to.
You're not running the show. I'm going to flip. I'm running my show tonight. I'm not going to let you take over my show, so please. But anyhow, the point that I'm making, Mr. So, on a very serious note, if Madam Sally have done that, she might have opened herself up to international criticism and everything, but that's why you put Liberia above everything else. She didn't do that because of a refusal to be truthful to the Liberian people. Others, because the warlords themselves, they are very aware of her position in the war. So since she's refusing to go out, they would say, to go and be truthful, why should I do that? That means she's not ready. Number one. The second thing is, if she had done that, and she realized that, okay, it's time for us to deal with each other, she probably most likely would have been able to find the courage to build some sort of an institution to de-traumatize the ex-fighters What have they done? What have we done to them besides taking the gun from them during the all-meal time?
So who else should be John Malice? Welcome. We can't allow this guy from Totanta to be with this sort of Tabata Salsa talk here this evening. So who all were helping Helen Johnson Sirleaf in the executions of the function of the government of Liberia?
Many of them young people.
No. Let's hear some of the names. Some of the
Amar Kone, Amar Kone, what's his name? Moore, Judy Moore, Kofi Woods, my own friend Victor Smith, other people. In fact,
you're not baby. Don't be doing.
All her children were involved, and there were many other people that came. And there's other. She brought in her stepdaughter or goddaughter, Woods. I mean not Woods, but what's her name? Weeks, the public works minister, who decided to insult people because they were having church close to her house. And where is she now? She's not even in Liberia anymore. This is what I'm talking about. All that stuff she was doing, it was because she wanted money. She got the money. They're out.
So, okay, Malik Jones, come into this conversation here. This guy we can. So this was done under the canopy of the Unity Party, correct?
Mr. So I'm not putting party liberal on this thing.
No,
I'm not going to put, because I know exactly what you're trying to do. I'm not going to put party liberal on this here. I'm not going to put party. I'm putting a leadership. It's not party liberal. It has nothing to do with party. It has to do with personal responsibility as a human being.
So George, action has nothing to do with CDC. Is that what you're saying,
Mr. So? Let us try to divorce politics out of this here as much as
we can. Politics. You cannot talk about government and say you want to divorce politics.
I'm talking about policy. Policy is different from
who are the implementers of the policy?
There are so many of them. So many of them. And many of them were young. Many of them were young. But their interests were money. It was not the interest of fixing Liberia. Their interest were money. If you go to Liberia right now, many of those people, the young people that were helping or working in her government, including her kids, nobody is in Liberia right now. Maybe one or two you will find. All of them, they're all, because they got the money, they went and bought these beautiful houses all over the world, and nothing is being done. So I'm not talking about politics. I'm talking about personal responsibility to the country of Liberia.
You cannot devote that. I'm saying that these are the
okay, all right, connect it with Unity Party. Now what? What is that supposed to come? Don't bring Ambassador Baka in this. He has nothing to do with it yet. Because I know exactly where you're going.
Mali Jones.
Yep.
Good evening.
How you doing?
Yeah, we are again tonight. The liberal is unleashing. You're talking about government, and he said we should not talk about politics. I don't know how you can draw that sort of fine line.
No, I said political party.
Well, I really don't know which school or thought the labor belong to when it comes to the type of issue, because as far as I know, the little that I understand about governmental function and activities is like there is a standard bearer, and the standard bearer is birthed by a political party. And a political party has got what we call a platform. And a platform is intended to be the program and the project for the government if they succeed to get into power. And everything that is associated with that platform, which include policy, program, and activities, is derived from the platform. So the whole thing originates from the party. So anything go wrong in Liberia right now will hold the ruling CDC government responsible, headed by His Excellency President George Weah. And the same go for all other leaders, past and present leaders. So there is no way Helen Johnson Sirleaf can divorce herself, making her policy independent from her party platform, and that especially where the party birthed her as a standard bearer, and she succeeded to become a president for the nation, indirectly is the party that is the United Party that ran Liberia. It is not an individual that ran Liberia.
Mali, you and Mr. So are missing the point big time. Like I said, you guys are leaping from the Empire State Building. The statement that I'm making is this: personal responsibility, leadership responsibility. You can have the party come out with the with platform and what have you. We have pro-poor agenda. If you go and read pro-poor agenda right now, you'll be amazed how many good things in our pro-poor agenda are they being implemented. No. Why is it? Because the leadership. That's my point. I'm not saying that they shouldn't come in. The leader, Mr. Marley, let me finish, and you were coming. Why are you taking on George type of way of doing business on the platform now? My goodness, we got we got to tell you.
You are literally throwing us into deep sea here.
No, I'm not. I'm telling you, Mr. So, I'm telling you that because I know exactly what you're trying to do. You want to bring Unity Party into this conversation, but that's not my point. The point is Unity Party, they have a standard bearer who was Madame Sali at the time. And so when she was elected, it was her responsibility to implement whatever it is that is good that the party had presented to her through the platform. Now, if she doesn't implement those things, there are no mechanism that will force the party to force her to implement the platform. That comes out of personal responsibility and leadership responsibility. Because as a good leader, you know what these people put together, that they saw it was a platform that was selling to the Liberian people that brought her into power. And if she's not able to implement that power, then she have lied to the Liberian people.
So then who fails the Liberian people? Is that she alone?
No, I already told you that.
Who?
I said many of them. Many of the people that were helping were young people at the time.
No,
but they are interested.
No. Mr. Moderator, I think I differ with the progressive right here.
Okay.
Who failed them? She and the party failed the people of Liberia.
I agree.
We cannot name people here. We can name her ministers. Her leadership and the party failed the people of Liberia.
Yeah, but here's the thing that you have to do then, if you want to be sincere in this. It's easy to wrap the party around the policy and the platform and say boom. But here's what you need to do. You have to be sincere in this as well. The party does not have some sort of a mechanism for which they will be able to utilize to force the president's hand to do what is good that is in the platform, which the party, here's the thing about the platform. The platform was some of the ideas that were used to sell her candidacy.
Why they were using the ideas?
Because they were good.
They were using it as who? Because you are so disconnected.
They were using the platform as party. The political party were using the platform to sell.
Let's have a conversation now. Let's have a conversation here. And as you will, before this night comes to an end, you will eat crow, and you will have a true confession here.
So the liberals have already thought this thing throughout yesterday, tonight, and last night, today. I know exactly where I'm going. Nothing here that I'm going to eat crow on. Go ahead, make a point.
So I am wondering, you have the incumbent president, you have other 2 or 3, 4 challenges, but let's narrow the scope in our own process of eliminations. President Weah, Ambassador Boyka, Ellis Cummings, they are the 3 now in the fries. If you want Liberian people, you're telling the Liberian people, which is a good thing, you're warning them, you want them to be a light, you want them to make informed decisions. On what basis? These are 3 group of people coming, they are contesting, they want something. How do you want the Liberian people to decide? On what basis?
The reason why I brought Madame Salif into this
No,
opening.
I don't want to sell it business here
Okay,
because
well, let me tell you now what I want Liberian people, what I'm expecting, and what I hope Liberian people will do. The reason why I brought her in here is that she, just like many of these politicians today, she sold something to the Liberian people that she was not able to carry out. Okay, for example, she said during the campaign, and in a real Liberian English, I'm a mother. If you elect me with your coming from war, if you put me over there, many of these young people will take care of them. I know every mother having feeling for their children. I'm a mother. You put me in there. The same way you see your children and running the street today, some of them on the bad drugs and things like that. We will do what we can to make sure these children come back to you whole. It never happened. Now, today we're having my own person that I admire. They're calling themselves Rescue 1, Rescue 2. Fine. Those are slogans as far as I'm concerned. I'm saying to the Liberian people, use the Ellen and even President Weah's situation where he said Liberians will not be spectators in their own country. And today, not only Liberians are spectators on the field, but they're sitting in the nose bleacher, way up in the sky. That's why they're sitting and watching the game. The foreigner are the one the people around the field. In fact, foreigner are the one that are playing the game. But they told us that Liberians were not going to be spectators in their own country. That has not happened. And I'm saying here tonight, what happened on Sunday? It's just a tip of the iceberg. More to come if we're not careful. Now, in terms of the politicians that are begging them now for a vote, they have to make sure they look and listen and go through the real vetting process, because these people will come and lie to them. They have done that before. And that's
so I'm wondering here, there seems to be a mixed signal here coming from you, which is dangerous for our country.
Okay.
Are you saying those Liberians wanted to make their decisions? Should their decision be based on what these parties, or they should take their Liberian people should take the individual who is the maybe we should look at the individual and what the individual want to say? Is that the agenda?
Well, the individual is being pushed by the political party, and most
why you think so?
Because they have that why you guys, that was your first argument. The people got political party, which I agree with, and they are not coming in as an individual, so to speak. They are representing a political party, and in that political party, there's supposed to be people with a like-minded group that's supposed to have to come together, and they will sell their platform, they will sell their ideas, and they support the ideas from one person to another. You will not be in a political party and don't support the idea of the standard bearer. But what I'm asking the Liberian people to do, look this time around, look keenly, listen to those who are going to come to you. Those who are going to come to you asking for your vote. Ask question. Because we already have two examples. We have Madam Salif, who were not able to implement some of the things that she was saying to the Liberian people. We have President Weah, who still Liberians are still spectators in their own country. So those two examples can be used effectively by Liberians now who are now being asked once again to elect any of these politicians. And I'm saying here tonight, based on past experience, let's do it and do it well.
Okay, let's do it. Was there a crime committed in the interim, those two that you named?
It's not a crime.
Should
it is
be
a political crime, which hopefully President Weah will be punished for that.
What's about Helen Johnson Sirleaf?
Well, because her time is over. She was successful in hiding the truth. She was successful.
So why you think Donald Trump time over now. While the American people say, well, what are you? There was taxes issues, this and that. Time over. Let's leave it. Why you think they're not doing that? You are your
Mr. Joe,
ideas are
I am not here speaking for CDC government.
They're
If
not
the CDC government,
talking about.
CDC government see fit to go and audit or go after Madam Sally, so be it.
No, but then you're not doing all fair. We're talking about a country, and I think we must take a holistic approach when we try to discuss the issue. Amos George, your Samson Toe is here again this evening.
I've been following the show religiously. I do not know. No, not that I don't know. Samson told them they don't want heaven to spoil Liberia.
There you go.
And let's have been following keenly. You have the mind, the guts to call Ellen Johnson name. You single her up, her personal responsibility. You live in the structure that brought her to power. So you take something to joke me out of the. You took her out of the camera?
No, oh man, I want them to see.
I'm glad that
I want the audience to see who this Samson Toe is.
I'm glad your slangy turns around and got you back with your buddy. Go ahead.
No. Amos George.
So Samson Toe, you call Ellen Johnson personally. You say you cannot hold other people responsibility, but you hold her because of her personal responsibility to the country. But you live in the structure that brought her to power. Let me say to you, we all know the role Ellen Johnson said he played. She came to power with a group of men and women. They took up positions. She gave people assignment. They worked 12 years. The only way we can exonerate all those people until we got something to call audit and look at the records. Who did what? What was this person's role? Well, you can't come and accuse one person and say this person did everything wrong with all the lieutenants. You call in young people name. She brought in young people. Yes. But were they only young people alone in the government? You call Victor Smith, you call Kofi Wu, you call Weeks. Let me bust your bubble. Your Vice President Joseph Boakai was the one who was put in charge of demobilization of youth. He was in charge. The document already I got him. He was in charge. What policy did he tell his boss to formulate to help those children? He was in charge of Madam Ellen Johnson took statutory responsibility and gave to Joseph Boakai. That is giving him the Minister of Youth and Sport to report to him directly, not to the president. Agriculture, give it to him. That is the president's statutory responsibility, but she dedicated that one to Joseph Boakai. So you tell me, what was the policy that Honorable Boakai formulated that his boss refused to do? You can't tell me. Nobody can tell me. But you only want to come and call a few people in the government that you fed that.
You see, Mr. George.
You had 30 minutes to do your monologue. You are doing all your tapa. I will follow you.
Speak. Come on, just speak.
So you come now to throw back and say one of the boss that, they ask you, her personal responsibility. But what is the personal responsibility of the other people? Lieutenant she had. And he said nepotism. Good. But who are not part of that nepotism? When Joseph Boakai took her work and put Group of 77 in charge of her, what development have been done there? Or they did that? But you got a mind to come call my auntie name, my grandma name.
Who your grandma?
Ellen Johnson said she the one. So let's look at this thing here. The same thing you're accusing Eric Johnson for today, that the same thing we're accusing George were nepotism, friends, and relatives. You're not talking that one. It's only Eric Johnson personal responsibility.
Mr. George.
So let me learn on this. If we want to build a Liberia, we should hold every leader accountable, not for what you term as social responsibility, personal responsibility. No. The political party, she didn't run as an independent. She came from an institution. So if something goes wrong, is she and that institution are going to hold them liable? Not she alone.
Mr. George,
So,
you know one thing I like about you guys.
Liberal,
Yeah.
I beg 1 minute, you're going to carry your point. We also would like to value the comments of our people. Mr. Wanyit, thank you so much for your comment. But unfortunately, we had a Professor Asese Zaulo was an analyst yet, a strong supporter of the CDC government. He was here regularly, and after he took assignment, that itself it became challenging, and he's no longer. I personally, we all have tried. I just want you to know, because probably he doesn't know. During my last visit, met where he said Moluba Molu. We did letter to all. I would tell you, say all of these people you see here is at their own will. I talked to the CDC chairperson here. You guys are here at Constant Duopo. Came here, commander said she was going to be regular, but we not get anybody on salary here, so people are volunteer. If you strongly feel that you want your supporter of the CDC and you want to be represented, they don't necessarily have to send you. We have Wilton Keta is here, that CDC man, right? Who else again? Somebody else.
Prince Kamara.
Prince, yeah. So we are not selective. I just wanted you to know. Togo, Liberal, go ahead.
One thing I like about you guys, Mr. George, Mr. So, and to a certain extent, Doc Mali. One thing I like about you guys is this: when something is in your interest, you push one line. If something is not in your interest, you push another line. I remember very well when I used to come out here, because I'm a truthful person, and I used to say some of the good things that I believe were truthful about the Mr. So the Libra is on. Please let me make my point. I know your intent here tonight to sabotage my show. You came in and you brought the two other gentlemen, credentialed it. I mean, brought them in here without the true involvement of the liberal. I mean, that's what you guys do.
You see the guy denying it. So you don't know your panelists. You don't know them. I brought them in clandestinely.
Yeah. But let me make my point. Why you want to rebuttal everything I said? Let me make my point. One thing I know about you guys, if it's not in your interest, you say something different. Was there not you, Mr. George, that used to argue here the buck stop with the president, and now you want to separate? Now, because it's Ambassador Bakai tonight, you want him to be responsible. The buck is no longer stopping with Ellen. Mr. George, you can't have your cake and eat it at the same time. You're going to have it and then share with us. Let me say this. The point that I'm making here tonight is that you're talking about auditing. I'm not against auditing. That's not my conversation tonight. I'm saying, and I tell people like you who have a very good sound mind and besides ANC, but you're always on the cutting edge. You're truthful. All of you guys are very truthful. I tell you guys are going to support me in this one tonight, because all that I'm calling for, whether I support Ambassador Bakar or not, but those who Ambassador Bakar and the Unity Party are going to be going, they should also use Madam Sally, use Mr. President Joyce as example, as the way to evaluate. Now, what's wrong with that? What am I saying here that is wrong? That going to make three of you that are unable to gain on me, and you're not going to be successful, but you're going to try to bamboozle me to accept your conservative idea. And I'm not about ready to do that tonight. I'm a liberal. I stand by what I'm saying. What part of it you guys don't understand? So let me just tell you here now that you have taken control of the show that has nothing to do with you. I put my show together, I put all my writing together. You came in and without me inviting you, you just hijacked the show and you brought two of your buddies with you tonight, and you think you guys you're gonna bamboozle me or kick me out of my own. It's not happening. So go ahead.
This is Alfonso Zenso of PR. Look, folks, we hold our own people accountable, responsible. If they don't do it the right way, we hold them accountable. Mala Jones, let me just bring you in here because this is the ideas of the liberal progressive, and not just only him, fair to say, and many other people. You have Amos Joy here from the far right as well. The 70,000, they say police. One day they trust the police investigation, another day they believe the police. But I think where the liberal is missing here, he tries to be selective in his talking point. And you're talking about a sovereign nation, you're talking about government, you're talking about institution, and people vote based on these political parties' ideology. We will build rule. Then you were not coming to say, oh, our hearing are going to do this. No, it's the ideas of the institution coined by all of their strategies and say, we're going to do this, we're going to do that. So when we are having this conversation, I think we must take a holistic approach. And that's what I was asking in that question, not specifically targeting Ambassador Boyka. But when he begins to call me and calculatively, strategically, and left his name, and I can let a child who can talk and he can talk, then of course we got to call him out. Mali.
Yeah. Well, I think the liberal being a bit disingenuous.
Much good.
Your
quiet number, you will not pull your true up.
I think in all fairness, the liberal being a bit disingenuous on this show tonight by putting us into one deplorable basket of formulating or organizing a social coup d'etat against his own philosophy as they advance it tonight.
They use a work together.
The liberal make a point that I want to stand with him on, and probably it's a point that I think I support, not in its entirety, but partially. The liberal said, he used the word mechanism. That means what is there between the president and the party? There's some agreement to hold the president accountable if something are not implemented. If I stand to be corrected, I think the liberal is in a gap. And I want to stand with him on that. There's the reason why most politicians, when they succeed to take over the executive mansion, nobody hold them accountable with all their utterances. The platform they bring is not implemented, and they just go scot-free. I think that's where the liberal is coming from. And myself, I want to agree on that. So the question now is, he just said, now we're about to flip the white paper again come October 10th, 2023. What are we doing about this? CDC came with propos, but there was no mechanism to hold him responsible if the propos is not implemented. Granted, now we are going to October. Can we begin to advocate from the political parties to hold their president responsible if everything they are telling us, if it did not be implemented? Can we look at it direct? Can we look at our discussion in our line? The question is yes, but it's practically impossible. From time immemorial, it has been practically impossible. Even in the great country, the president will say a whole lot of things. All the journalists will do, oh, you lied to us. These were broken promises. You lie to us. That's all we can do. And the voters who are at mercy of the lying politicians become victim in the middle. So then the question now is, back to the liberal now. How you think we can close this gap this time around to hold these people accountable and their institution?
You sending the question to the liberal again,
Yes,
Mali?
because that's where he's coming from. How? Because it's like the liberal is afraid now that very soon we'll be moving into a new terrain. Are we going to carry these things, the baggages all again? So my question to the liberal, how you think we can solve the kind of problem now? Because from time immemorial, the political system as well as the institution, the voter, it has just been like that. People can make promises. When it's broken, nobody hold them responsible, except they penalize them the next round and they don't vote for them. That's all they can do. But can we go above that as voters?
So let me add a little bit piece of layer there, then the liberal will come here. And I'm going to give you in the interest of fairness,
a little bit more.
Yeah, in the interest of fairness, rest assured, even though you already put us in that group, that we are here to
I remove the good doctor out of that basket of deplorable.
All right, Amon Joyce still there?
Yes.
All right. Whatever. I will see before the show comes to an end. Mali is not guaranteed. Before the evening comes to your end, last sanction will be played. But on a serious note here, those are very good things we want you talk about here. This is a convoluted aspect of this whole thing here. How should the electors vote? Considering all of these experiences you just enumerated, which of course makes sense and everything here. So now the voter becomes confused. They'll be going,
Mr. So I don't have to take you far places. And I will use him because he's been following our show for a very long time. Dualo, the young man, I believe he's in Massachusetts area. Jefferson Kochi was on here one night, and he then, when Dualo brought in conversation, he said, well, you were one of those who you said you wanted to do X, Y, and Z. You came, you came to Liberia, and you couldn't do it. But most likely, I don't know the entire thing, but most likely, because I've read Dualo comments here a lot, and it seemed to be that he's another young man who will not hide their feelings. When you do wrong or something is not right, he will tell you. And I believe most likely the issue with him and Jefferson Kochi, most likely, and I'm just speculating, just from reading his comment and think, I believe he must have told Jefferson Kochi things that are supposed to be done, and Jefferson Kochi hoping that Dualo was going to worship him. And the fact that Dualo was unable to worship him, there comes a divide. Now, let me go on what Mr. Mali, the question, excuse me, the question that the doc asked. The way this thing can be fixed, you can bring Ambassador Baka, who is 500 years old. It's the symbol of stabilizing. It's a symbol. Now, let me use your words now. It's a symbol of rescue. But the bees then that can make honey, they got queen bees. She don't do anything. She just sit down there. It's the young people, young bees, go out and hustle. This is the system. That is the only way that we're going to be able to survive. And that is the young people that are going to surround themselves around Ambassador Baka, for instance. They must be truthful. Not like Anthony Cassidy. Every day he puts something out like he's speaking as though he's not Anthony Cassidy anymore.
You have Cassidy. I have to interrupt you the other day. This is who you are, and this is the most.
When I brought him here, I questioned him the whole time, Mr.
No. Your question, all it was the same.
I'm not going to say Mr. So want me to. No, I question him the way I feel. Let me just finish my point. So you have people who are now going to try their best to put Ambassador Baka in a bubble. And I told you guys that what was going to happen to President Weah. The point is, those who are around a particular political leader must tell him the truth. Because here's the thing here. If you're truthful with a political leader, most likely they're not going to accept you. Either they will let you go or you stay with them. Now, every one of us that is on this platform right now, if somebody come and tell you true thing, the very first thing in your mind, the very first instant will be for you to reject that. As a human being, none of us like to be criticized. None of us like to be told what they think the truth is. We will resist it. But as a human being and as a good person, after a few times, you go inside of you and have a discussion with yourself. What this person is saying is wrong. And you will find out. And what makes you a good leader, I believe, once you have done those things and try to have a peace with those people. Mr. Mali, this thing here is the young people that are going to be involved in this political arena must be truthful, must come out and not to seek the gravy train and not to seek money for themselves. Because if you bring people who are broke and put themselves in this position, nothing going to change. If you bring people who are broke, but they decide to put Liberia first, things going to change. As simple as that.
This guy is Edmund Joyce.
Yeah.
Can you interpret what this guy saying?
That's for the Unity Party folks. So I don't have anything to interpret for him. But here's the thing that something told you continue to dance around the bush. I think it is not time that the Liberian people look at somebody different. And I think that person is Mr. Cummings.
Who?
Cummings. They had tried all people who work in government, who has government experience. They turned out to be dismal. So I think they should take a chance with Mr. Cummings. The Liberal talk about a rescue team. This rescue team, what were they in 12 years? 12 years. What did they do in Liberia? What did they different that they would do different from now? This rescue team. 12 years. They were in government. What policy that do they can tell us that they will do differently from what they did the 12 years? So, and young people, I don't know the yardstick you're using to measure young people. I don't know the yardstick. Today, Ellen Johnson, you the simple who are criticizing young people. He said Ellen Johnson brought in young people. And there was the stove. Now you see again, Joseph Bagama bring young people.
Oh, Mr. George, but why would you just pick that one? They said there was some sort of a context. And besides the context, there was a trail of explanation that came with the bringing in the young people.
Mr. To, you were talking.
Okay, all right, go ahead. That's why you're here. Go ahead, because you're entitled to it.
I like to use people's own words, not my word.
But you're not using all of it. You're not using all of it.
Well, that's not my business.
Oh, that's not your business. Even if you quote me wrong, that's not your business.
No, I'm not quoting you wrong because you said it here. You said Ellen Johnson brought in young people.
Yeah.
And what happened?
Okay.
You said they took the money, they go to other countries.
Right. Good one.
So, okay, now tell me what missing? What I said I'm missing.
You said that I said people just like should bring young people.
Guys, one second, please.
Yes, yes.
1 second.
That was you.
Okay. All right. Okay.
That's why you said.
Okay.
So,
all right.
I'm saying it's not about bringing young people. It's about bringing people who have the ability, the moral character, the moral compass to look at the country. You can be young. You don't have the country at heart. Somebody can be old. They have the country at heart. So I think it's looking for people.
But that's the same thing I said.
Hold on, oh man. is looking for people who will help to lead the country. But the messenger, I have a problem. Because the messenger has the trails of record. They have to defend. Your man talk, I want to see him to distinguish himself from that of the Ellen policy. What does he disagree with? Because he's on tape. I was saying the video there, so we can be playing it because I don't want to be lying on anybody. He said, Joseph Bonka, that 75 by 80% of the decision Ellen took, he advised her 75 to 80%. He advised her, and she took the decision. Those are her own words. I was saying the tip. So how can you want to put a man where all the Empire State Building that he's the man to steer this ship? I think it's not time the Liberian board should try somebody new.
I think, Mr. So, you need to charge him, though.
And other, you call Joseph Boakani, did they charge you?
But I was not running Joseph Boakani campaign.
Hold on 1 second. Let's flip this table here.
Yeah.
Do you guys think Liberia is some sort of a science ground laboratory? Will be trying people? So, yeah, or are you?
So Liberia is not a science laboratory, but equally so, yeah, the people 40 years, 30 years, 20 years in government. The same old thing they continue to give us. The same old thing. The same old thing, same old result. To borrow from, I understand what he's doing, doing the same thing and doing the same thing over, getting the same result as well. So why we can't try someone different from outside of that arena?
Mary Jones.
Yeah, Mr. Moderator. I think the agenda the Progressive has just said this evening is a very interesting one. But here is my take. When it comes to doing it differently now, and I hope the Liberal is listening. My take here is that, can we begin to evaluate some of the early utterances of the people who want to come to power and judge them by that before the election? For example, His Excellency, the former VP, said in Philadelphia when he came here on his last visit, or one of his visits, that he's going to audit the George Weah's government. I heard it's on tape. But then, with that kind of conversation now, Samson Store has just allowed me to put on a new lens.
Oh,
to look at Joseph Boakai utterances, whether it's practical, whether it's feasible, whether it can be implemented. One, to audit an outgoing government, you must leave those in charge, the big bosses in charge, to audit them. Because when they leave, it becomes difficult to audit them. That's the first thing. Two, is he going to appoint all these people before the auditing start? There could be a destruction in documentation. Three, why Joseph Boakai has limited the audit to the CDC government. If His Excellency want to do us a favor, holding him by his statement, why he can't expand the audit from Charles Taylor days to this time, so we really understand how our finances have been managed up to today. Practically, can Joseph Boakai audit himself?
Oh.
With 20 million now.
I rest my case.
So let's give the Liberal hold on 1 second. Okay, let's give the Liberal time to respond to that. So Mali, what you are saying, in as much he said he was going to audit for whether he himself will be subjected to audit, to, correct? Is that what you're saying?
Yes, but the premise I'm laying here now is from the political leader Cummins to Joseph Boakai and to the incumbent Let us now begin to evaluate some of the things they are saying, whether it's even practical, whether it's feasible, whether it can really work. I think that's the premier I'm leaving now. That's the premier I'm laying. But starting with Joseph Boakai, utterance of audit. Is it practically possible?
Okay.
If
I
the
have no
question is
idea.
yes or no, can he go behind and start from Charles Taylor time to show that he's sincere and transparent with the audit, including his time and now George Weah's time? That's my question.
So, Mr. So, first thing I want to say is this: when I was growing up in Town, they have a guy called Soccer, and Soccer people used to come all the way from Plo, Bo, all over the Town area. When you're blind, you come to him. He use a knife and scrape that blindness off of your face. I'm glad that I'm doing that here. Mr. Malice, Dr. Malice just told us that I'm giving him a new lens. Thank you. And I'm sure he's not the only person here. Many other young Liberians are listening to this progressive, and I'm giving it a new lens here tonight. That I'm very proud of. But let me say this.
Yeah.
First thing is this: audit itself is not a bad thing. Audit, it does not necessarily equip to trying to catch people stealing.
Right.
But however, if you cannot, they give you 2 cents, and the 2 cents is not your money. They were giving it to you. They give it to you for a specific purpose, and the purpose is also written out pretty much. And if you cannot tell the people that gave you the 2 cents how the 2 cents was spent, yeah, of course, you're gonna have problem explaining yourself. So I think if Ambassador Baka is saying that he's gonna audit, if he cannot go past President Weah administration, then he has a lot of explaining to do, because then people will say, and I say people will say, that it is because you serve in an ailing government, and because of that, you don't want to audit. And according to Mr. Far right, central right, not even center right, far right tonight, saying that Ambassador Baka has $20 million, and because of that, perhaps he doesn't want to go to adding. Now, the issue here for me is this: if Ambassador Baka wants to do a audit, first he have to tell Liberians that the auditing process that he's bringing is not necessarily to find people eating money. But of course, if you are, you will be prosecuted if you're found guilty. If you are, you will be prosecuted, and if found guilty, the punishment, the law would describe the punishment for you. Now, as far as Ambassador Bakai and the fact that maybe if he comes out and say he wants to audit Eddie, yeah, he can do that as well. I'm sure Ambassador Bakai have the ability to do such thing. But the other point that Maris brought up, and I don't want to leave that untouched, will be, what do you do now with those that are in power? Immediately after the election, you don't do what CDC did, going cleaning offices, all the your girl that our time now, and like the vice president is our time now, your girl will pull our own people. No, those people they work for the government, and you coming in, you can't just clean the house. Those people must be told to keep all their papers, important documents together. And here's the interesting thing: many of these ministers, they have people working in their offices that are now on board with their corrupt behavior. And you will find some old lady who's been with a minister for almost 20, 30, 40 years. She's getting ready to retire, but she has not been part of the corrupt scheme behavior. She will be willing to help. They're there in Liberia. So I think the idea of wiping people and bringing in people in immediately is not going to work. When you see that happen in Ambassador Baka upcoming administration, then you know they're not serious.
Excuse me, moderator, before you just come in, I want to defend the CDC. I want to defend the CDC on this issue, and I'm record for this.
Well,
When
of course,
CDC,
of course.
yeah,
of
when the
course.
CDC came to power.
I'm not too sure whether we should call you former sedition.
No. I just want to be very.
That's why you label people.
Mr. Moderator, I just want to be very objective here.
Okay, go ahead.
CDC is on record with all their bad apples and things, but they are on record when they came to power. They did not carry massive removal of people. No. What they did, they added to the payroll. They added their people all over. Yes. That will cause this guy to start speaking the language of how you say harmonization. A language that His Excellency could not even understand. They decided to accept it, to reduce people's salary, to accommodate their people. And it's even said, there's an unconfirmed report that they added, I saw this on the civil service website, but it's no longer there, about 45,000 people. All right? So they added, they didn't remove people. That one, good credit I want to give to CDC. But equally so, they should have made assessment of the financial status of Liberia, including our revenue intake, before adding all the large number of people. But here is the challenge. Assuming VP Bwaka come to power, is he going to remove other people, employ people, or are you going to add on? Thank you.
Now let me push back a little bit to Mali and the Liberal.
Yeah.
When we talk about removing people, we are not talking about civil servants.
No, I'm talking about civil servant.
There's no person we could not fire the civil servants.
Okay.
Those are civil servants. Those are the people that keep the engine of the government running. But when we talk about ministers, we're talking about appointed positions. I'm talking about appointed positions. Those are the people the government come to power, any government can come, they can move those people. Appointed positions.
That's obvious.
If the person wants to kill anybody, that he prerogative. But those are the people they can move at any time. That one, there's no plan. We are not talking about those civil servants. Those are the technocrats. We are not talking about them. They got nothing to do with the money that people steal. The money that people allegedly steal. Those civil servants got nothing to do with it. They only do paperwork and things. That's their job. So, and let me say this. I know the ANC will do the same thing. Anybody
what same thing?
They will add people to the payroll, which I'm against.
Oh,
I'm not for big government.
Of course not. You're conservative.
I'm not for big government. But I can tell you, if the ANC win, they will add people to the payroll. So let me be very clear with that. And I dare anybody to come and challenge me on it. They will add people to that payroll, civil servant. They will bring in people. Besides ministers and director, they will bring in people. But I'm saying for me personally, I'm not for big government. So let us get that clear. I can't give CDC credit for that. It was a political operator they brought in. But if you talk director and thing, they can fire. They're not even so turn. They should be leaving. They just will turn over and leave.
No,
then the government in power.
I think you're missing the point. The point I'm driving home is this: ministers, director, they will always go.
Yes.
But what I'm saying, CDC brought a huge chunk, almost equal the size of the normal civil servant we had in that place, because I come in now, they don't want to touch those civil servants that were there. Now, if you're telling me that ANC will come to power to add to the payroll, then I see what I call employment crisis again.
And that's why Ambassador Baka going to help you stabilize this whole thing.
You see, something to just the dishonesty I speak about. Don't say Baka come to stabilize. Wait,
hold on 1 second here. I think you didn't compare to Samson. You spoke about your Cummings and he's speaking about his Baka. He's saying he's dishonest.
No. What I'm saying about Mr. Cummings, I said that Cummings definitely will add people to the payroll.
Why?
Bringing people. But he trying to say Baka will not do it.
I just hope they don't bring you back as a police director in Maria.
That's no, don't dilute the conversation. He's saying that Baka will not do it, and that's the dishonesty I'm talking about. Are you telling me if Baka comes to power, do not add SAMSON to that payroll? Definite.
No, Baka would think about it. Baka would discuss with his people. And Baka would know. Baka would do what is good for the country. He's not going to be like Comey. Baka is not going to be like Comey. Job come and overblow the civil budget.
On you people part.
You see, this is what I'm saying, Mr. George. Baka is not going to do like what. Let me finish my statement.
Okay, hold guys. I think
you got to cease fire.
Yeah, we have people listening. You want to go first? You want to conclude your story, and then please don't now interrupt me. You're talking about coming here to try different thing as a science laboratory, and you say no, we want to do it. You do it. You say your own, and let him try his own. Let him say his own.
Okay.
The point that I'm making.
Be honest.
No, so Samson, not you. Yeah, hold on.
Okay. Go ahead.
What I'm saying here, I'll be honest. If I sit down here on the platform and say, oh, if Mr. Comey window, he will not add people to the SAMSON payroll. Mr. So then I'm not honest with you. And I'm not honest with the Liberian people. That is the fact. I will not be honest with you, and I will not be honest with the Liberian people. It may not be the same number of people, but they will have to hire some people. So for someone to come and tell me, oh, that person will do it, they will do it stabilize. At the end of the day, they will still add people. So why you want to sugarcoat it?
Well, stabilize the war stabilizer. Why you get a problem with?
Now, what you mean stabilize when at the end of the day you're going to do the same thing? So why you talking about stabilize? When you want to do the same thing?
Why would you want him to coin specific word that you want to hear? Hold on. Yeah, when people ask you question, you say you answering question.
Yeah, okay. Now here's the thing here. To coin special way, and at the end of the day, you will do the same thing, then you're not being honest. Be brutal and say, look, Mr.
I'm bringing one medicine man for you. A second time.
Here's what I'm saying.
Let me bring the Ministry of Justice team.
Yes, what I'm saying, Mr. So.
That my voice will bring that on.
You're not going to have anybody to help you tonight. You're on your own. But let me just say this here. What I'm saying here, even before they add any other wage bill on to what is have now, most likely, as an intellectual and as a stabilizer, what he most likely would do will be to consult his financial experts. We have this many people on the payroll. Do we have the budgetary mechanism to be able to support that? And if the expert tells him no, instead of putting Liberia big into the hole, he most likely going to find means to bring people on board without blowing the entire budget out of the water. This is who Ambassador Baka is. He's very thoughtful, he's very sensitive, and he's coming in to stabilize this thing. So I'm not too sure why you're getting angry about that.
No,
okay, guys, you're being on your sasa here. I will not say Tabata. You're being on your sasa here. Let me bring him on. When you see Sisi and he jump in, then something is burning within here.
School come to close now, but he had a job order. He had to leave out at work. He said, "I gotta go. I will come back."
Yeah, the old man.
Mr. George.
Good evening.
When you see him turn a hat upside down like that means you want flower. But you know what I want. When you're walking down Morea, you turn your hat like that in the street of Morea. You'll stay with.
Okay, so good evening, man.
How you doing, gentlemen? I'm sorry, I've been gone for a while. My allergies has been really bad. I think you can still tell from my voice. I'm still not back 100%, but I wanted to join tonight, but I had a guest. I think you all saw the picture in the chat room.
Yeah.
I trying to pee for us. Even though I was running side here, I tapped in here. I said, "Well, I put a man here. Come me plow." Then he still come me plow. So when I do it, I run. I don't do it, I still run. But no, I had T-Max. T-Max is here in Minnesota. A very good friend, so I had to go pick him up. We were, hanging out. and I just wanted to show face on the show. I've been gone for a while, but it is not intentional. I haven't been well, and I'm still suffering from sinus.
Oh, we should speed a recovery.
Okay, yeah, we know that.
Let me throw my 2 cents in the thing where Samson still saying my uncle will come to stabilize. You know, I don't think we have records that can support that theory, or evidence that can support that theory that the honorable former vice president, Rescue One, will be able to ensure that the Liberal Civil Service wage bill is rescued into black and not red. And I'm saying this to say that when the Johnson Black ticket won elections, the Harvard-trained economist and the longtime agriculturist and director and manager and former members of the erstwhile Revolutionary People Residential Council decided that the economic theory that would level down the government wage bill was to they lay people off, and they had a very good name for it. It was downsizing.
Yeah.
The CDC came and took the same playboy and changed it into harmonizing. They downsized the payroll, but they ended up having more people on the payroll than were there before it was downsized. So for the United Party, when you downsize something, it means you upgrade it. And you got more. I think up is down and down is up. I think UP is this way this time. So I don't see it unless the honorable learned and astute and veteran public servant in Rescue One can come and tell us that his ideas of rescuing the wage bill is different from the governing idea and the governance philosophy that he and Madam Johnson ran the country on for 12 years. And maybe he can tell us how those how they differ, because if we are to give him credit for what he did in the past 12 years when he was the vice president to the most astute former president, Ellen Johnson Sirleaf, is we also have to then say that based on the track record, this is what was done. Does he see it differently? If so, where has he said? Where has he written that? How can we look at that to be able to synthesize what the differences are going to be?
Oh my goodness!
They say because that one I know you are following that one he been fighting me on. I said the rescue. Where's the record? He still alive.
Mr. So, may I respond to the Minnesota politician, please?
You can call any
name. Expressing his view, his opinion on issue, and you say you want to respond to it, to do respond in what context?
Well, I just want to respond a little bit. He brought in some so-called northern facts, an alternative facts here to this conversation here now, and I want to disabuse him on that a little bit, if you don't mind, sir.
Go ahead. Let's hear
so my big brother. Did I say big brother? I mean my brother.
Say your small brother.
My son and brother.
Say your small brother.
Mr. Central Right. Can I? That I'm my business. What I gonna have to know? You can't bring. I gonna have like that. Myself, I come and call my son to bring my house so I can put it in my hell. But anyhow, let me just say this.
Go and put a chair down so Omer Boga can sit down, because there's not cost that many to stand up.
Let me just say this. When Ambassador Bakai and the Unity Party came to power, they were succeeding one of the most corrupt government, which is the interim government. As they came in, the employees of the interim government was so huge. The civil servants on the interim government was so huge that it was unbelievable. So when they said they were downsizing, remember now, there were people that were on that payroll that were not doing anything. There were people that were on that payroll that was not even performing. So when Ambassador Bakai, through his knowledge of true government implementation, working with government, having a government that is working for the people, they decided, yeah, we can keep these people on, but at what cost? Our people need roads. Our people just coming from war, they need to rebuild the schools. Our people just coming from war, they need to do something with the farming equipment, what have you. And as a result, they decided to downsize. And the downsizing, the only reason why you didn't hear a lot of noise about it, because the doors that were downsized and that were removed were those that were ghost payroll and everything were identified. And that's why he called it downsizing. So it's not like the UP will come and then up and down, down and up. No, far from it.
Let me ask a
They have
question.
done a wonderful job for the 12 years, because if it were not good, they would not have been re-elected twice.
So if I understand you, they were downsizing because they were removing ghost names from on the payroll. So they didn't understand the difference between downsizing and just making correction to payroll, because those are two different things.
No, not just the ghost name. They were also removing people who were not working, people who had no responsibility in the government.
So their idea of downsizing was to make an efficient government. So firing people who are not doing their job was downsizing?
Yes.
Right terminology to use. Yeah. Because when they went on, then it became like the pro-poor agenda. Because when a lot of the people were explaining what they meant by downsizing, was that the government was the highest employer. And so they were removing people, not their bodies, because they were the highest employer. They were removing people from the payroll to run the main government. But as it turned out, they had more people added to the payroll. So instead of downsizing, they were replacing people on the payroll. They brought in UP partisans and they put them in places in government where, in civil service positions. That should not happen. The same thing the George Weah government did, and the same thing Amos George is alluding to, that if communists win, might happen. And that is a travesty. So let's own up to it. The Unity Party came, they removed some ghost names, they added some ghost names because they still had to be collecting money on the side. They removed people and then they added their own people. So how do you call that downsizing when in fact the numbers balloon? How is down going up?
So this is a conversation always here, and this is why some of us.
I want to see the political leaders that will come on the platform and say, and tell the Liberian people that if I win, I'm not going to add one single person to the civil servant payroll. I want to see that person for the first 3-4 years. I want to see that political
not necessarily, but you need to tell us what the resource is going to be coming from, and that's what they didn't do. The reason
honest. That's what I'm saying. I'm being very brutally honest. I want to see the political leader.
You would never hear that. You will never hear that from them. Go to Capitol Building. Go to Ministry of Foreign Affairs. Go to
somebody is calling in. Can I pick that? That's Kotu.
Oh, sure.
She coming for her nephew.
Yeah,
she coming for you. She coming for her nephew.
With me, yeah.
Anything, just speak the Lama at all.
Kotu, you might have to call back because I got to connect you first. Call back, please.
Okay, let me put my. I told you the Liberal would never use this line here tonight, so forget it. Let me put it number one.
So one thing though that my Papa George wanted to talk about is this thing about small government, believing in small government. There is no political party right now that can say with a straight face that when they win election, the first term they're going to be small government, conservative or liberal. Because it's going to take some time for us to wean people out of this dependence on government job. It's going to take some time to attract investors for factories to be built, for opportunities to be had. So it's not going to happen in any one person first term. It's not going to happen.
But realistic. See, you are seeing that I'm seeing, and that's the honest truth. Because I know if anybody win, they will have to add people to the payroll for the first maybe 2 years or so.
We're not going to do Ronald Reagan. We're not going to do Ronald Reagan and the northern politicians. We're not going to do, Mr. George, we're not going to behave like Ronald Reagan and what's his name, Mondale. Ronald Reagan, Mondale saying, Ronald Reagan will lie to you. I will tell you the truth. I'm going to raise your taxes. He was never the pre-elected. So we're not going to do that kind of stuff.
Now, so you lying to the Liberian people?
No, I'm not telling you. I said we're not going to behave like Ronald Reagan and what's his name, Mondale.
But that means that's why you people not tell the Liberian people the truth.
No, we will tell them the truth. We will be truthful.
What is the truth you're going to tell them? 12 years.
Mr. George,
Somebody
go ahead.
Yeah, Mr. Talk, good evening to all of you, and good evening to the people of Liberia that are listening.
Hold on.
Yeah.
Now you. Go ahead. Now you are telling the other person to hold on.
Okay, I want to thank all of you for the contributions that you guys are making. And I see the attack, the counter-attack, and people attacking the liberal and counter-attack. And the same thing they are attacking the liberal on is the same thing they are doing.
Your liberal went up in my mouth.
I was hearing Mr. Joyce saying that any government that come in, any president that come in, going to add or increase the number of people that are working. And Ambassador Barkai said in his interview that they are not just going to take people from out of their job because they want to bring in other people. What they are doing is they will be training people in areas, that the country will benefit from, not just employing huge number of people just for the name's sake, to say, oh, I'm just coming in, then I have to accommodate others. And what he's trying to compare with Eddie, taking Eddie under the UP government, Eddie came as a UP president, but Eddie does not run her government as a under the UP, party. You will see there was accommodation of people from the CDC, from other parties. Even she went around seeking for professional people just to accommodate them in the government. So that's what we are talking about. We keep talking about professional people coming in to make impact in the country. And they took this government from a government that has a huge potential, a desirable need, and brought it to a stable level to some point. And I know that there was some, that's why Ambassador Boyka have not exempted himself from the blame. He said that we scratched some opportunity. He did not exempt himself from it. And the opportunity that is coming is something that they want. These are the holes that he has seen and think that he can work on Liberia to make these changes and put things into the right perspective. And I think that's why he's working on. He's not somebody who is coming in as a novice, who is going to start all over. He already has seen some of the things that he needs to implement, and he's knowledgeable about them. So it is just a matter of saying, okay, I'm coming and start connecting points, okay? And that's what he's all about. It's not to come in and start learning on the job, okay? Like other people will come and they will take some time to learn, but that's not with him. He has already seen all of these things and will come in and just start connecting the very midpoints to make the things work out for Liberia. And that's why we are talking to our people to come and vote for boycott, because that's his intention. He's not coming to reap resources for himself. He's not coming in to go start womanizing. He's not coming
Hold on 1 second. Okay, all right, hold on. Let me go to this other folks here. Okay, all right.
Impact on the life of Liberians. So that's why we are asking that people will come and vote for boycott. Thank you guys for allowing me. I know this also. Don't mind, you just want to kick me out of this thing.
No, we want you to come here. There are other people on the line. I'm wondering whether then there's a mixture of both Unity Party and the CDC, because there were people CDC told to hold on. So should we then be holding CDC or hold both CDC and Unity Party together? You number other people, but that's fine. You can stay on the line. Let me just, if you have the time, you can stay on the liberal line. Let me pick up the other
Let me see what Phil.
You profile, then you won't go. You profile, you going.
No, I told you, hold on. There are other people that been on call yet. So just hold on 1 second. 215 number, are you there? 215-074 now. Are you there?
Yeah, I'm here, Pop. How you doing? How you doing? I'm calling from the United States, New Jersey.
New Jersey. What's your name?
Lisbon to be precise. Oh yeah, I love this show. I always is my first time coming on your show. We are talking about Bwaka, which is meeting. And people me are 43 years old. I was still all out there English. Bwaka being power, I was not even born, but I was running like your income. For 40 years, see, when I'm there, but 25 years. According to Bwaka, I was working for Zambia Kanyan as an agriculture minister. We went to LPNC. One question I got for Bwaka, let you show me the system that you left in agriculture that the Liberian people are still using today. We know a war for something and do put there, charge it up put there, Ellie put there. We're using it. But what Bwaka lead to LPNC that the people still using today?
The war destroyer.
They said local country or the grab basket. Local country. Bwaka was president, president for 12 years. He even got hot. I just learned he even got hot.
No.
Here we go again.
Oh,
here we go.
Local country.
No. Make your point.
My point is, we shouldn't choose Bwaka. If we choose Bwaka, we are choosing Prince Johnson.
Okay. Thank you.
We choosing Prince Johnson. Prince will be very nice to be the marshal with SAMSON.
Thank you
so much. We don't want Prince Johnson. And what Prince Johnson doing the war, I was there for all the 14 years of our civil war, I was there for 13 of 8. The only one there was 2003 out here in America.
Hold on. Okay, thank you so much. Let's bring in.
God bless you.
All right, thank you so much. Okay, thank you. Hold on, caller. Okay, hold on. Let's make it brief as possible. We are almost out of time here, but all things, statement, comments on this network is not a voice. It's not a tone of the Liberia Public Radio. Let me go to this number here. 904. Hold on. Let me go to the one that came first. 412 number. Are you there? 2529.
Yeah, also this is you know what? I try to sneak in.
Oh, the cattle training. Okay, that's our own analyst, Dr. Joyce. Now let's hear from you.
Yeah,
socialist
just before I make my point, you see sometimes when leaders speak, when they necessarily come and have their father work with their comment because of detrimental to society. You see the job they're talking, the job that I call you rather than speak that spoke. Because what Taylor said the last one concerning GLD, and that's why he's running with. You know, so sometimes when leaders speak, sometimes they are in there because detrimental to society. But just to make my point or Emma George, since Goya, you know, like I said, they sound like a socialist tonight.
I think I love an LPR analyst. They're going to spend $1. Socialist? Are you one of those? Dr. Toto, how you manage to? How you know then? Are you one of those?
About a socialist, but they sound like a socialist tonight. Because in country like Liberia, first of all, what's the institution that we have or infrastructure that we have in place to say we don't want to dance our government? You know, there's no way. Government in Liberia is the higher employer. We don't have good investment opportunities like creating jobs for people. So you can't be able to power the. So you should not increase the employment roster or ask people. You should have a dismissal for that one because the people have been blocking. Also, I think I agree with the labor on the way tonight. You know, there's a need to work along the system to see how best to even increase if there's a need to increase to what you get there can't say you want to dance out.
That you say you agree with the laborer?
Well, call me, should I go? Yeah, I agree with the labor. I agree with the labor.
We agree for not dance out, but you still agree with her.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much. Dr. Joy Tutu. Oh, something unbelievable. The way they agree with him to never forget. Okay.
The two PhD agree with me.
Are you there? Yeah, okay. Now 04, go ahead. Let's hear from you. What's your name and where you calling from?
Yeah, I'm here. I'm calling from Florida, precisely Jacksonville.
Okay, let's hear you.
Yeah, I want to thank you guys, for the show. I think this is my second time watching the show. At least it's more interactive. Everybody is pushing the point, no personal attack. At least we are getting educated.
Right.
Because if we are informed, then we can able to pass down to those who are not informed. And education is important.
Right. Thank you so much.
It is good that all the candidates in a race are qualified because these only are what they want to do for Liberia. But I see that there will be overflowing of the payroll because each time government come in and government go out, the consistency of the payroll for our budget cannot sustain the payroll.
Right.
So if the private sector is more strengthened, then people can get alternative, to help their family. That's why you see that people are so single in the government because there's no alternative working. Because they take you for a job, where do you go?
I know.
You see, where do you go? And now, if we cannot find the solution of the rule of law in Liberia is not working. Because Liberia, if you want to attack the person get family connected to the person connected to the person, before you hold the person, you hold the whole nation into court. So that's what happened when you suffer Liberia.
Right.
If the rule of law take place in Liberia today, all those money and whatsoever people take, we don't need to go after the credit for and for money. Right. The money is right in Liberia. But the rule of law, who will take the bill by the home? If you start now, everybody will be involved. Everybody will be involved. Military party or CDC or all the government party and president because the government people get enriched by the government. So you see everybody going to the legislative branch to get paid. You see, it was so brother, for the show. I love the show. You guys, I know, pushing up point. Let's keep it on. This will be one of the best shows you guys stick to this kind of point.
Thank you very much. Thank you so much. I think very, very excellent point. Okay, this is 763. That's the last call for the day, and we'll be wrapping up for the analysts to make their closing arguments. 763 number. Good evening. What's your name and where are you calling from?
Thank you, Mr. Sir. This is Elvis calling from Minnesota.
When Elvis, you're FBI, you'll be calling a different number, or what?
763 or what?
763. He's a sedition.
Oh my God.
No. But let me just say this.
Go ahead.
And thanks to everybody. Yeah, thanks to everybody on the panel. Hello to everybody on the panel as well. Just keep this number in your mind. Maybe you can put it in your closing.
I think that would.
How much money will it take to build up Liberia to look like Ghana? When I say the United States, in terms of money, just put that imaginary number in your mind. And that's the point I want to make because when we're talking about development in our country, you look at somebody like JMB, with all due respect to the former vice president. I've said it before. When you go and invest your money, whether it's a personal banker or a stockbroker, if you see a man who is broke, you trust that man to give you your money to invest it for you? So if we are putting our economy in the hands of a man whose personal finances are in tatters, and we are expecting that person to perform a miracle with the national budget that he couldn't perform with the small budget of his own personal finances, how are we thinking as a people? We talk about Gonzo. Gonzo he's a one-issue man, and he uses the broom. That broom, like I said before, everybody in Abrona used that broom before. You know, when a man tell you to go through the piazza or go through the bathroom and put the cover outside the coat, you use that broom. So it wasn't everybody in the villages and in the urban areas in Nigeria. And he's a one-issue, kind of person, which is fine. Because if you're looking at somebody to say, oh, let's clean up corruption first and everything else will follow, people can easily gravitate to that message and that convolution of all kind of arrest and re-arrest and deploy all type of slogans that don't make any kind of sense.
Thank you.
So for me, outside of just me, I would say give Bongo a chance. Because for me, right now, saying I'm a CDC sympathizer, but I'm starting to get disillusioned because President Willa is calling a channel right, and they're not making any kind of move, they're not making any kind of noise. The whole air is being sucked up by JMB, he's not making no noise. Anybody outside of Willa, I will give credence to. Anybody outside of Willa, anybody outside of Boyka, besides Willa, I will give credence to. But not JMB. I can go for him. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Okay, guys. Liberal, what a fascinating conversation here. You see, you have to be very careful.
Culture is still on.
Oh, okay. So I mean, then we're gonna I mean, one of the panelists we're gonna be wrapping up. You see how the guy using your word? You have caused a serious harm to the ambassador campaign this evening. So if you're a spokesperson, you shouldn't be holding that job. You should be fired. You're telling the people that they must soon bring broke people. So now you have people running away. But anyway, guys, thank you so much. But before the closing argument, I'm excited. It being in the news, it being in the making. It was, let's say, my fault as an anger because tight schedule and all of that. But we will now be heard starting as the 3rd of June. Liberia Public Radio, the Liberian World Today will be back right on LPR TV with SCAR 12:30 Eastern Standard Time, 4:30 Liberia, 1 hour. I think we're going to make our voices echo again inside Liberia. This has been confirmed. And to all our folks, Liberia Public Radio will be live on Sky FM in Liberia starting as the 3rd of June. 12:30 p.m. Eastern, 1:30 local time in Liberia. So it's what, 4:30 to 5, something like that. So expect more fascinating conversations. So it come at a time we need this here. Are you having a headache, the Liberal?
I'm listening.
No, because when you're holding your head, I think maybe you need some ibuprofen. So
I'm enjoying. I don't need any headache issue. We don't have headache. And the stabilizer and the rescue 1, rescue 2 is coming, and whatever headache I have, they're gonna alleviate that very shortly. So I'm not worrying much about it.
All right, let's make our closing argument. Yes. What are we taking home today, and what do we want our folks listening to take away? Who wants to go first?
Oh, let me go first. I gotta go.
If you go first, don't come second. Because I know when they say something, they call your name or they call Kumi name, you're gonna come. So let's go the
I'm not assassin to what's about coming or just a bug name when they call it something to start running here and there. Because you know they ain't got nothing to defend. So when they call it, they try to disturb everybody. But let me say this. I'm saying that it's not time the Liberian people try something different. This government experience all through is not bad, but it has not changed the system. So I think the Liberian people it's not time to try something different. And I will say Mr. Kome is that man. But I just wanted to say something that we didn't touch on. I will close on the drugs issue in Liberia is very concerning, and the recent ruling by the court. That is something very troubling for some of us. Because what the government did there, it like they just did something sloppy for people to get away. I'm not talking about the judge because what you put on the table is what the judge act upon. So I'm not talking about the judge, but I'm talking about the government of Liberia. They didn't do any justice. And that is our brother and sister who continue to die from the substance abuse in Liberia. And for that kind of drugs to come into the country, and the government handled the case very sloppily and let people to flee the country, I think that's something again for George Weah to think on it. Our brothers and sisters, aunties, sisters are dying in our country from drugs. The entire country is being infested with drugs. And you got people who bring the kind of consignment in the country. And for the government to do everything to convict people. And they just do a sloppy job, lazy job, and people walk scot-free. And our brothers and sisters continue to die because I always say crime has no boundary. So I will just end on that note.
Thank you so much. Who next?
Yeah, I was gonna try. Look, my people, you're listening. They were Emon Joy and coming business here. That answer here, we're gonna. Why would Emon Joy even come on LPR and bring coming in on the thing, whole thing here like that? Emon Joy, you gotta stop that kind of thing. You can't come on LPR and just bring coming in all day long, and you think that we ain't got nothing here to say, Wow, he's disciplined tonight, isn't he?
I want medicine. I ain't talking. I want medicine. You gotta know where you're coming from.
Oh my goodness, Mr. George, you surprised me. I thought you were going to take the whole.
Well,
No,
you're trying to gain your rightful ground, eh?
no, seriously, Mr. Zo, go ahead. You guys go ahead. I think I'm going to close it because I got music I want to play. Go ahead.
Well, let me just comment. The issue the progressive just raised about these people platform and the voter holding them accountable, I think it's a gentleman agreement between politicians and those who that vote for them. But here is the issue. I think we have come of age now as level-headed Liberians to rather evaluate some of the people platform and see what is practical and see what is even feasible. I think we can do that. For instance, the ANC promised the creation of job, and Kumi even said that government is not the sole employer. Government should not only be the sole employment area for people. No, he's going to create jobs. But my question now is the first 100 days, the partisan that behind all the political parties moving up and down, they're not concerned about the intricacy and some of the difficulty or complexity of our financial institution. All the thing when you win, they should get job. So the first 100 days, Kumi will create a lot of jobs. A lot of them will create a lot of jobs. But the first 100 days, the partisan will be anxious. What happened in the first 100 days? That's the challenging question. And the next challenging question is, I have evaluated the TRC. All of them, almost all of them have said they're going to make sure they institute the TRC. And there are a lot of complications in the TRC right now. First of all, the TRC was paralyzed by the Supreme Court. How can the executive branch of government work on that before it gets to the president, before the president sends it to parliament, when you get a lot of rebels sitting in parliament, before they approve of it, before it comes to him, before it get into law? There are a whole lot of complications with the TRC implementation.
Okay.
So I'm even finding it impossible again without utterance that are coming from ANC and Joseph Boakai for now that I have heard. So what I'm seeing, some of the utterances that are coming from our leaders right now, we need to evaluate it and see their applicability and see their feasibility, whether it can even work. I rest my case.
Jones O'Malley Octavius, man.
Not only that, Jones O'Malley Octavius, Dr. Sawyer Tipote, and family.
Okay, Sese.
Yeah.
So there are too much of apprehension here in this whole thing here. I don't know.
Look, I'm gonna get around to my tabata, but my brother Dr. George Toto accused me of being a socialist, and I said, I say I am a socialist.
Eh? You are what?
But I can't.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
You know.
I say I'm a democratic socialist.
Oh.
And in this country that Dr. George Toto lives in, there are socialist ideas everywhere in government.
Yeah.
The police department, the way it's funded, is a socialist idea. Public schools, the way they are funded, you might not have a child in public school, but you have a house in a school district. And we tax your home to pay for the children in public school, when in fact sometimes the renters whose children go to public school don't pay for the children. Yes, indeed. You accuse me of being a socialist.
I agree with you.
Democratic to it. I am a democratic socialist. When the government of Liberia pay for JFK, they use taxpayers' dollars to pay to sustain JFK. There are a lot of people in Liberia who don't pay taxes to the government, but they are supposed to benefit from that. Yes, my brother, indeed, I am a socialist, but a proud democratic socialist. Now, having said that, my sister Koto stay on the phone. She said JMB will be training people. They will keep the unemployment off it, but they will bring up to be training them. So we're training them Batala. When you're training these people, you will not be paying them money.
But why that Watanga
Then
bill?
I play with my training base. When you're training the people, you will not be paying them money.
No.
When you're paying them money, and not coming from the government, they're not still ballooning the civil service, the government payroll. Hey, my people are begging you, man. We 5 more months to election. You stop giving out tabata. I was stomach running on tabata and I will begging you. Will not taste your Imodium. It's certainly our better give a good food that we eat. And you know, when people talk about don't get government to broke people, and my brother, you know, I love my brother in Minnesota. He said, how do you go to an investment banker who is broke and you give him money to invest? I like that. I like that. But my only question is, we Liberians, we are religious people. Don't we every Sunday go to churches where we have broke pastors that pray for our prosperity? Yeah, you're not leading here, man.
But since I'm a pastor, please don't attack us. I'm a pastor.
So having said that, for my brother, Mr. George, to sit here with a straight face and say Kumi is the alternative, yeah, Kumi is a very smart man. Kumi is an accomplished man. But Kumi has made a lot of false steps and a lot of falls that for me gives me pause. Merger and acquisition. When Coca-Cola bought Designing, it was merger and acquisition. When Coca-Cola bought Minute Maid, that was merger and acquisition. When you acquire these other companies or when you merge with them, you are taking all their employees, and sometimes they come with unions, labor unions. You have to negotiate with them, and you have people who are in leadership in these other companies that are going to be swallowed in this new company. You have to understand that these people will come with a mindset of they don't want to be a part of this. They will be hostile. You have to get ready for that to deal with that hostile environment. Alexander Benedict Cummings, I'm hoping, dealt with those when he worked for Coca-Cola. But then he comes and goes and forms a merger with other political parties, and don't see that there are dissident forces within those other political parties. That the labor union movements of those political parties that were coming to form this merger and acquisition were not going to be so nice to him, and he didn't plan for the breakaway. And usually in corporate settings, when you have this breakup after merger, you know what happens? The stock of all of the companies go down on the stock exchange. They lose money. Stock payers lose money. Investors lose money. And that's what happened to the ANC, CPP, the new CPP, and the new Joseph Boakai. They lost stock. The Liberian people who were the investors lost valuable time and energy that they have put into the CPP. And people keep saying, Joseph Boakai working government, you're not getting anything about the Joseph Boakai working government. Yeah, that's a good idea. There are some people that have been teachers forever, can never be principal. There are some people that have been deputy managing director forever, can never be managing director, because they were not able to fully function as deputy. So besides, despite the fact they've been there 500 years, they stay at that level. There are people I met in my structure who have been there and have come and overpassed them, not because they haven't been there forever, but because they have not shown the acuity to be able to deal with complicated issues. And so when my sister sit down and say, oh, Unity Party, Ellen, we're not Unity Party. And this is why we need a governance ideology. Because when you don't come with a governance ideology, then you don't understand what you're governing. You continue to perpetually run a campaign like the CDC was doing, and like Madam Ellen did, and like Joseph Boakai and his group right now cannot distance themselves from, because they don't understand the governing ideology. Right? And so for me, I would say to the Liberian people, there is one person on this horizon that's shown time and time again. He's shown you the old mat he sat on and want to plant the new mat, and he's traveling around with a broom, and he's telling you that we have done this before in the private sector where he owns his own law firm, in the private sector where he's defended poor people, the likes of Morba Malu, the likes of Henry Costa, and so many other people pro bono. He understands government. He has his integrity. He worked in government. He left government when he felt that his integrity would be questioned if he stayed in government, and walked away. And that one person is Dr. Tiawonse Gonglo. He's the answer for Liberia's problem.
Tiawonse Gonglo. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Go ahead. Go ahead. And then
no, but you said you were not saying something, so you know what I'm saying.
I'll take that now. I read it now.
Tomorrow, after tomorrow, you say what you want to say.
No, There we go. It's not happening. It's not happening. Go ahead, Kotu. Go ahead.
Kotu, go ahead.
Oh. So Samson was hiding Kotu.
Kotu, are you there?
Yeah, I'm there.
Okay, go ahead. Go ahead. Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay, are you hearing me clear now?
Yeah. Oh, you want to come? You want to come on video?
No, I can't come on video.
Oh, okay.
Okay, I'm listening to my dear brother, sister. I love you. And I'm not the type who will go there, with any of the candidates, especially from the opposition. I don't go there to describe any of them. But when we come to tear in their apart, I can tear one in pieces.
For what?
I don't want to go there with him.
That one, then you got to speak. Yeah, they all go and speak the Loma, or maybe that will be.
He said Tawan was a poor man lawyer. He also suppressed Liberians that were working with the institutions that could not get their worker paid for them to be supported, even with the USTC. And then people are saying that other organizations that he paid for. Okay, but that's not what matters right now.
Don't throw. You see.
Hold on.
Don't just throw things around.
You are on your rendezvous yet?
You were on the tabata. She didn't say anything. Let her go with her tabata. Go ahead.
Look at Libra.
But I'm not going there, but because these people are still consider all of them as qualified. But when you guys think you're getting at other candidates, we will not get back at you, we will get there. It's there. It's under the cluster. We can take it out. But that's not what matters tonight.
Bring it on.
You said that give me a chance. Give me a break. You were talking, I didn't talk. You said that Joseph Baika talk about training people. You train people to make them marketable, to make them productive. They don't have to stay on a government job. They can go in the private sector and be productive.
Say, we gotta respect the rules.
Guys.
Josh, where you going? Come on, Josh, where you going?
Are you a police officer now on this network? Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, we can't leave the black space there for this. Okay, he's back.
Whatever they are trained to do, they can work for themselves. They can be self-employed. They can work in the private sectors. You are making them productive. That's what we're talking about. We're not only talking about them making learning and stay in government. We are training them because it's our responsibility. I heard somebody talking about Joseph Baika was responsible for DDR. I worked with NGO at the time. We went there, they could not get all of these people at the time to even disarm them and supply. And these were people who were even trained in getting tools to go and start doing their career on the back. But because at the time there were substantial of so many needs at the time.
Okay.
Not just meet up with all of these needs at once. So you're getting right. This time around, we're going to get it right. Okay?
Okay, thank you.
You're going to do it better.
Thank you.
Okay, so I just want to appeal to my people. You have to vote for JNB. He's the right person. He knows the job. And I heard my brother talking about JNB. He bringing Prince Johnson in the house. Prince Johnson was there when this guy, who voted for JNB, and then who went to support what do you call Josh Weah.
Okay.
So
thank you.
Control that. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. So. What I want to say here quickly, Mr. So. What I want to say here very quickly, Sissy and Mr. George, I think you guys have spoken volume here tonight for your candidates, and I think you guys have done a masterful job here tonight to actually expose your candidate being such an intelligent.
This message you're not talking. Cut the thing. Let's go. The message you're not talking.
You are not in charge, Mr. George.
You see what I tell you? I told you were not going to stay. You were not going to be disciplined for a long time. It doesn't take much to bring him out.
Mr. So asked him, he said,
I said I would talk last. Let me finish. Okay, so you guys have done such a wonderful job here tonight, selling your candidate. And I think many Liberians that have been listening to you, I think they will agree with you that each of you did a wonderful job. Your candidate is one of the best in the league. But this is what I want to say to you. Let's put Liberia first. With your brilliant ideas and the brilliant ideas from your candidate, you'll come to Uncle Joe. You'll bring no idea to Uncle Joe. Let Uncle Joe help you to implement these wonderful ideas you got. Let the rescue people, you'll join us. Don't go your own way. You're not going to get anything. Come and join us and make Liberia the most wonderful country in West Africa. Only Uncle Joe, and you guys know that. So with all the brilliant ideas you guys have, come and join Uncle Joe. Because Uncle Joe will make your ideas are implemented. Don't take your idea on the side where it's not going to be implemented. Bring it on board. Uncle Joe and his people, Rescue 1, Rescue 2, and Mother for Rescue mission will make sure your ideas are taken into account and they will be implemented.
Any the Mother for Rescue mission?
Hello?
Is that Ketra?
Yeah, Ketra on the line.
Well, I thought,
wait, let me ask something. The Libra.
Yeah.
You said the rescue mother that Ellen Johnson said it?
No, what?
Yeah. You see, everybody get their own partner. Just how you know, grant Emma Georgia has to do and I have to get put on there. Okay, let's hear from the CDC win from Connecticut. We're talking Ketra.
Yeah, hello, guys. How's everything going?
Good.
I would press the call. I've been listening to this program. I press the call, listening to Cotto and the Labor Progressive. It got me baffled here. Cotto just said that they didn't get it right before, and the Liberian people should get a chance to get it right now. Are you kidding me? What is different from what you did in 12 years that you can change right now? You can't change anything. The situation. In fact, Joseph Boaga said they're going back to the same status quo, right? They said we will downsize. We're going to cut. We're going to shrink government. We're going to take all the qualified people from the payroll and put decent people and pay them high money. The same thing what they did back in the days, where they had people from abroad that they were giving an exorbitant amount of money, and they said they were shrinking government. They didn't shrink government. They just made people make a lot of money in the country and left a lot of people in poverty. That's what it did. So I don't know what you're going to do different, Cotto. I don't know what the Labor Progressive is even pushing, because 1 minute Labor is on coming side, the next minute you're on board that side. You're not really standing in. That's the thing that spoiled our country. You're the progressive people. You're kind of come clean. I don't understand.
Why is he being allowed to speak?
Come clean. You either for or you against.
I am in charge.
Hmm?
Let's say, why am I allowing you to speak? So I'm telling you, I am in charge, even though that is sure, but I am in charge. Go ahead, speak, get to speak.
Yeah, so that's, this is the thing. Joseph Boaga squandered opportunity for 12 years. Can he repair what he squandered? Does he have what it takes to make that country? And I agree with what my brother said. They got a better alternative. But unfortunately, he's not gaining traction too. And look, let me tell you something. They got better candidates. I mean, Mr. Gonglu, Cummings, all those people. But they are not gaining traction. The Liberian people have seen, they have tasted development. They have seen what true leadership is.
Yeah, the mess want to cry in your face.
They're gonna go with George President George Manuel Weah is making tremendous headway in the country. So they're gonna go to. This is just time to run that nation. Maybe after 2029, we'll be discussing Taiwan around here.
So, be asking before you go. The headway we are making at the Prince Johnson church compound. They're making a headway. Okay, on that news that came on CDC every day. They laugh.
Yeah, I praise the candidate already.
The headway that you are. I was saying.
Okay, guys. All right, that does it this evening, as usual. So I want to thank all of you. The liberals, yeah, we got to bust your bubble, because when we give you chance, man, you would throw a lot of things
But
out
I know
there.
exactly what to do next time.
Oh,
I know exactly what you and your people, you're not sneaking into my show next time. I know exactly what to do. I know
Wait a
exactly.
minute. Wait a minute. You and your people there. Are you putting them aside? That's been divisive.
You brought instantly. You brought
but that
in
and the man that Joseph Boga train old man. Joseph Boga devised it. And I say you tell about Joseph Boga talking to Brunskin. So you know that.
Gentlemen, I don't want.
I am not part of that one. Uncle Joe, let me say it.
We're not part of that other topic though.
I hope you will find time Saturday morning around maybe 11 o'clock your time. I'm going to be hosting the Liberian Engineer President, Daddy Toe. I'm going to be hosting him on Saturday morning, 9 o'clock my time here, which most likely going to be 11 o'clock your time. And we will be talking a lot of engineering issue. I hope that if you have the time to be able to join us at that time.
So next time, Libra, you have to. I know you want to. I know the passion that you have to speak about your candidate, but tonight you did a horrible job.
But I said I know what I'm going to do on Thursday. None of you will be able to get in unless I invite you. So I know we got two platforms here.
Well, I say, listener, viewers, you're hearing it because he wants to control his talking point. He does not want anybody to counter. You're hearing him. This is the liberal. That's who he is, and he's saying that, and I know he's going to do it. Well, the folks going to be watching. Sister, thank you so much.
Thank you, guys.
All right, bye-bye. Okay, that's how we're going to leave it here this evening. Oh, sorry. So that's how we're going to leave it this evening. I want to thank all of you so much. For those of you first hanging out with us, this is the Liberia Public Radio. To Madam Beatrice Sophie Johnson, thank you so much. And our man Librot from, I believe, North Dakota, Madam Agnes Barclay Dion, thank you so much for coming. Jimmy Denny, and let me see here. The guy been tweeting here. Margaret T. Bala, thank you so much. Bajibo Fremont, my man Tarek, Vanny Collins as well, Justin Colley. Thank all of you so much for your time. And I see that one, Jabo. I'm hopeful I'm calling your right name, Saki Bestman. Thank you. If this is a first time, we wholeheartedly welcome you. This is the Liberia Public Radio, LPR TV. Sometime our conversation here, we hold one another accountable. And that's what we need to do as an institution, media institution. If you say it, your colleagues can challenge you. And that's what we need to do. So your comments, your tweets, your interactions are very much rewarding to us. Starting the 3rd of June, we're going to be back on air, Sky FM in Liberia. Voice, the panelists, we're going to be hovering over the Liberia on Sky FM. That will be 12:30 Eastern Standard Time, and that will be 4:30 local time in the West African state of the Republic of Liberia. We're going to be hovering there. Thank you so much. Sunday. Oh, Manayon, you want to make an announcement here? Tell us. You want us to send crew there? Sunday is Green Day in Grand Bassa County. I love the passions all of you folks have for your group. But it's always important that we have this conversation here. Tomorrow, I'm going to be here with the panelists. Wednesday, all things considered, will be airing right here on the Diaspora Informative News Outlet. I am Alfonso Zienso from the New England Bureau Desk of the Liberia Public Radio. Until then, we say have a pleasant evening. And thank you for your time this evening. Bye-bye. This song says, the load that is on your head, that load is so heavy. But the only person who can take that load is the Most High God. God is taking that load. We'll eventually take that load off our head.
Ina mapa Jésus mapaya o mapaya o mapaya o mapa Jésus mapaya o ba. Si go do ayaba. Ya you so do ayaba. Give up I know. Just give up I know. Oh I know. Give up I know. Ya you so do.
Interesting that I'll be hosting. It's going to be a fascinating one year Friday evening at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. These are my two beautiful nieces, journalists and other professionals. They have their own show called Sis Please Podcast, and they're going to be right here. Okay, Moses Cooper, I don't know whether you want me to call you on in Messenger. If not, you see the Liberia Public Radio number, or you I'm on Facebook, Alfonso Zian, so no other name, or you're gonna see LIB Messenger. Those are the two names I have. If or you send me a number, how you want me to call you, just let me know and I will do it. Okay, he is taking the load from our. Okay, thank you so much, Most. I got it. I'm gonna reach out to you, and those of you who know there's a graduation, conventions, or whatever, birthday, baby shower, whatever historical event you want to have, let us know. We don't just want to put the interest of the politicians ahead. We also must also give you the opportunity to showcase yourself and promote your image. Let us know right here, and we will do that. If there's no way, we will find it out.
Oh, I know it. I know it. Oh, I know it. Papa fire you. And what they are doing. I said.
Be the first to know and hang up with Liberia Public Radio to LPR TV. Fair, balanced, objective, and making news proportional. And get a taste of what's going to happen Friday evening with this.
But the reality for a lot of us today is that as a Black family, when you're upwardly mobile and live an upper middle class lifestyle, it often means that we're the only ones in majority white spaces. And sometimes that upward mobility comes at the expense of our own psychological safety, sense of belonging, and fears about what it means for our Black children and their, sense of self. Hi, I'm Sada, one of your co-hosts of the Sis Please podcast.
And I'm Jaretta, the other half of the Sis Please podcast. Thank you so much for joining us. So, sis, what's up?
I'm good, just hanging in there. It's funny because for the past few weeks, I've been doing a self-imposed Amazon moratorium. Like, I can't buy anything unless it's essential. And the reason I did this was because I'm doing this.
Okay, there you have it. That's a little essence of the Sis Please. Two of my beautiful nieces, they're going to be joining me here Friday evening. We also have to unveil Sarah. She was, I believe, 1986 when she went to Liberia. Jaretta has not been there. So, but we try to make them to know. And very smart, intelligent, smart girl, smart lady. I want to be having a conversation with them. But I told them when I came in this country, I was already a grown-up man. So whether the current accent, Liberian accent, right? They have to deal with it. I remember on the song here, we were talking one time, and I said, "What my favorite car is Subaru." He said, "No, Daddy, this is Subaru." Well, you think whatever you can think about, and they want to be the Subaru. All I know, that's what I like. So we're gonna be having a conversation here. They are on Spotify. You can also get them on YouTube. They talk on a wide range of issues. We have to insert diversities. They are our children. We have to make them to know the culture and ideas away so that our government, future government, not just necessarily yet, we know what a citizenship is now. I want to tell you, it says some of us want to go volunteer, but we are hearing say this one is not there, that one is not there, and some of the news coming up. So, and there are many of you here who have kids here, they are doing an extraordinary job. The reason you see America, it is why it is the integrations of immigrant people from different backgrounds. They are here, professionals, and doing different things. And we need to talk to our people, that sort of mindset, because everybody didn't die in the war. Everybody didn't stay there. So it means we do not like our country. And I don't blame them because the politicians has managed to press in the minds of our brothers and sisters against all, and they want to see all as a liability in the sense that we just only want to take their job. Where is the jobs, in fact? But there can be a good thing out of here because these people, some of them can volunteer to go and teach, to do different. They are professionals in all fields, technical as well. So, but we have to open up. They got to see them as their own and forget about this sort of device that have been created. Politician has planted and some of them has ran with it, and it's working out for them. They only become next to earth. They know you and myself payday. They know when you get paid on Saturday. That one, then your brother, your uncle, our pa, our man. But when you talk here, you're getting like, bro, they say, oh, yeah, how long? When they start asking you how long, now the insecurity kicks in because they think they want you to stay and you want to take their job. That's not the case. But I think there are other folks here, kids here, who are willing to go because I talk to them a lot. Some of them say, oh, some of their kids, they leave, they go Nigeria, other nationality, they go and teach, they volunteer. You know, they don't really mind, they pay their own way to go. We could benefit from that as a country that is trying to build these institutions that are falling apart because of the greed of politicians. And we all have to facilitate these sort of bad behaviors because at all costs, we give back into our people because you simply support them till you're unable to tell them what is right. And then at the end of the day, you come back to say, knowing what I know. And this is why we see some of these folks all over the network. Yesterday, they were there. They defended, they protected at all cost. When they fell apart with institution or whatever thing, they didn't go. They turned around on 360 and they said, so how can I believe those people? Why can they tell me for me to trust them? They just want to get. And that's exactly what they are doing. At this point in time, with 100, let me see here. I want to be very factual here. According to the Election Commission guideline, 139 days to presidential and legislative election. We are not discussing policies of these people. We are not discussing their infrastructure agenda. We are not discussing their education, their agriculture, healthcare. We are not discussing anything. As to how they're going to get things turned around, we are not discussing it. A lot of distractions is ongoing. All eyes on Grand Bassa County. It will become official. And then what next? We saw the ambassador to pick his VP. What is the next thing? Coming going to do his pick this come Saturday. Making a pick is not all, but the aftermath of the pick. What would be the agenda? What would be the tone? What would be the language? What would be the game changer if there's any? That's what we want to see. And those people who always they want to go to network because they feel they are the people that play to their narrative. Well, we are open. We always reach out and we want them to come. And for some of you who support them, it's okay. This is why we are not judgmental. Let them come here. We're going to give them the fair share and have these conversations. Until then, I'm Alfonso Z and Sort of the Liberia Public Radio and LPR TV. Have a pleasant evening. And I'll see you here tomorrow at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time with your informative news magazine, All Things Considered, with the panelists. Have a pleasant evening, and thank you for sharing your quality time with us. Follow, like us, our page, YouTube, Twitter, LinkedIn, and then, of course, Facebook. Make sure you hit the notification bell and select all notifications in order to get an alert when we are on. If you have a convention, you have any activities, and you need some sort of promotional event, call us. We will talk. If there's no way, we will find out. Have a pleasant evening. Bye-bye.
Twaga the Matiaka Vosa Vazo Cono. Quando go maga, will need to pagate Nimati and Nitavazo, would Damaga in a packet, Nina Paget Twaga, Nuva go, when Nazu, God was sick, I knew what other you if I'm a man no telling or go quinny, or go quinny. Gadate, Gada is a caravizo. Gurka, Naka, Gurka. No guy is a cavalizo. Ain't no Nuva Gonaga Yazi Natasi Giziga was at the sea. I don't know what I would now go in the car. A car was even now a Margarizo Vosazo. My young Havana, Mount Nuva, Havana, at the Mamma no at the other say. So I'm gonna say now or time in a pagan to take care of Telava. Glava in a pagan Gubusuaga with Tazo. Kagabuso over going to command in a pagapo got over, Gavaga in a paga got over. So now, ma go, Mamma willow. Who I not figure another go where war, Gavasu was in the paga gabusuga. So, Mamma.
Do you want to share your events with the world? Why not contact us? We are Liberia Public Radio, LPR. We are the specialists in advertisements, commercials, radio and TV services. We have the professionals that can help you sell your products and provide live coverage of all events, such as weddings, conventions, graduations, reunions, anniversaries, sports, birthdays, baby showers, religious activities, funerals, and many more. Take your phone right now and call any of the following numbers: 682-433-8802, 267-648-6089, 484-786-3337, or 916-533-2048. Our customer service representatives are waiting to take your calls and give you the needed assistance. It is LPR, the home of excellent media services, and your friends in business.
I just want to thank you.